has 4. Lamar trying to make magic happen. Throw it in zone. Likely 2 feet down. Yes! Touchdown! What a play! Isaiah Likely! Going for 2 and the win are the Ravens on opening night.
No.
The runner's toe hit out of bounds. It's an incomplete pass. The game is over. Kansas City has won.
Let's get nasty on a Friday. It's the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. Andrew Marsh, Carey Davis, Jamie Rivers, I'm Anthony Stalter. What a night it was at Arrowhead. They welcome back the defending Super Bowl champions who are going for 3 straight, and so far so good for the Chiefs. You heard it last night. Mike Tirico on the call as the Chiefs knock off the Ravens. They hold on to a 27-20 win. Isaiah Likely with a massive second half for the Ravens. He wound up with 9 catches for 111 yards and 1 touchdown. Could have been 2.
That guy's a big-time player.
He's a big-time player. You get him.
Some would call him a money player.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Thursday night on the road, Isaiah Likely, he's going to come to play. You know, I remember a game a couple of years ago in Tampa when Isaiah Likely had a huge game.
I feel like that's a random game, but
Meant a lot to me. Meant a lot to me,
yeah,
Jamie.
I can tell.
Yeah. Guys, I think, so Carey and I, believe it or not, we recorded a Gridiron Guys podcast earlier today.
Nice.
And the first thing that Carey and I opened with on the podcast, and that will be available on our YouTube channel at 101 ESPN STL, and I believe they'll probably post it on 101ESPN.com as well.
And it'll also be available where you get all your podcasts.
Absolutely, yes. So we opened up the Gridiron Guys, and I looked at Carey and I said, I don't know what your instant reaction was to last night's game, but the only thing I thought about after they won was, you should have beat them last year. You should have beat them last year when they had a receiving core that was not great. Travis Kelce was inconsistent, certainly not up to his standards.
Well, we know why.
Of course, distracted.
Totally distracted.
The defense, incredibly talented, but incredibly young. Last year was when they had to go on the road in the playoffs. Should have got them last year. Because this Chiefs team is better. Mahomes, you've got this kid Xavier Worthy, who I think right now is just kind of a gadget guy, but what a gadget player to have in your back pocket. They're more explosive now offensively. You still got Pacheco. You still got, Rashee Rice now.
Why?
Rashee Rice, second half of the year last year. He's emerging as a legit number 1. This Kansas City Chiefs team, who I didn't even think they played necessarily their best game. And I think the Ravens, you can say that too. You should have got them last year because they're even better this year. That was my instant takeaway from last night. How about you guys? And Jamie, I know in fairness, Jamie, you had to kind of go back because you had an event last night at the MAC downtown. The St. Louis Sports or Missouri Sports, St. Louis Sports Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
So I know you kind of had to go back and watch it.
I did catch the ending of it, and then I went back and watched it again. And for me, my biggest takeaway was just how many options Patrick Mahomes has this year. Like last year, you're throwing to guys that had cinder blocks for hands, and they still managed to win a Super Bowl. Right. But the way they spread it around with Rashee Rice, he's wide receiver number 1 now, obviously, and he had a hell of a game. For me, my biggest takeaway, much like yours, is, that's a lot of weapons. Mm-hmm. But they're not like, I don't know, it's like they're not superstar status. But when you can move the ball around to all these guys, and then you got Pacheco coming out of the backfield, and you got Mahomes who can do whatever the heck he wants to do. That's pretty wild, man. That was my biggest takeaway, is that Kansas City, not only do they continue to be a dominant team, but I feel like Patrick Mahomes this year has way more options offensively.
Yep.
He definitely has way more options. I mean, he got guys that actually can catch the ball. We saw that last year. They were struggling with drops left and right all season long, and now you got guys that can make big plays. And Xavier Worthy he can roll, right? You got that guy that can stretch the field, I think that's what they thought they were going to have in MVS last year, but he could stretch it. He just wasn't going to catch it.
Mm-hmm. So T-shirts now available.
He stretch it, not catch it. So, but now they have a team that, look, man, this is going to be the story, for years on end. He's 28 years old, talking about Patrick Mahomes. He's going to be around. Like, he's got another 8 to 10 probably good years left in him, in my opinion. So what more do you expect? Looking at that game, though, the Baltimore Ravens, I didn't like that they didn't give Derrick Henry more than 12 carries, but I feel like some of that is, the read option where the quarterback has to make the read, and if they're diving in to try to tackle the running back, his job is to keep it, which he ran for 100+ yards. Lamar Jackson did. I'm not as far off of this Baltimore Ravens thing. I think the Chiefs were really good. And it's tough to say, and we did just say this in the Gridiron Guys podcast. It's tough to say this, but these are the two best teams in the AFC, maybe in the NFL. I mean, just based off of what they did last year and what we saw last night. That last play, everybody will talk about the catch from Isaiah Likely that wasn't a catch.
Yeah.
Lamar Jackson in the pocket and how he's able to extend that play and keep his eyes downfield. That is a great football play. With what's happening in that moment, with how much time is left on the clock, to not panic, to not have any fear, to not feel any pressure, and to throw a damn strike. That to me is Hall of Fame caliber play from your quarterback. Now, the catch was great. Great job. Just if he wore a size 10 or instead of a size 11, a size 12 instead of a 13, we'd probably have a Ravens win. But Lamar Jackson in the pocket and have almost 400 yards of offense, both passing and running. Would have went over 400 if that catch was good. He's going to be a problem.
But I did have an issue, much like you, Carey, with the number of carries for Derrick Henry. When your quarterback eclipses your running back in carries, it felt to me like you went and got this monster to provide a running game for you. Take the pressure off Lamar so he doesn't have to scramble, because it's inevitable. Someone's going to pop him at one point. When he's running around like that, he's going to get popped.
Yeah.
But it looked identical almost to last year, where the Ravens kind of sort of tried to tickle the running game a little bit, but then when push came to shove, Lamar ran the ball.
Yeah. Again, I think it's the zone read where you're not blocking a defender because your quarterback is essentially the guy that is going to read him, and they ran that a few times last night. When that defender comes down and tries to make the tackle on Derrick Henry, there's no one. I mean no one outside to stop the quarterback from running. So you're going to have a lot of that. Now, at some point, you do have to just call a run play where there's no run option for the quarterback. Downhill, power, outside zone, inside zone, and hand the ball off to Derrick Henry, because I think he needs to touch the ball 20 to 25 times a game. Like, for him to be effective, for him to have an impact on the game. And like you said, Jamie, it limits the potential for injury in your all-star quarterback. So
Isaiah Likely, how about this guy?
Stud.
He gets injured. I thought his season was over.
Yeah, I thought he broke a rib.
I did too. And then he's back, not the next play, but the following play, and then makes that incredible catch. I'm just wondering how this Ravens offense looks throughout the remainder of the season, because I don't know if they can keep doing this where Lamar is just running all the time, because to me it seems a little one-dimensional. I could be wrong. Did you see any deep balls that were completed from the Ravens last night?
You beat me to it, Marsh. That was missing last night. Was the deep shots. If you have a quarterback that can run, and you got everybody frozen in the secondary and the line, really at the linebackers, you freeze them. You got to be able to take your shots downfield. Zay Flowers had a nice night, but there wasn't those deep shots consistently to at least put it in the back of Kansas City's mind. I give credit to Kansas City for Derrick Henry, because if you go back, you think about it. They started off the game with the Derrick Henry run. He got 2 yards. Then you had some of the illegal formation stuff that popped up. That put you behind the chains. Derrick Henry, second carry, 1 yard. Derrick Henry, 6 yards. Derrick Henry, 3 yards. Derrick Henry, 5 yards on the touchdown. I thought Kansas City did a nice job bottling him up. Now, Carey, maybe to your part, maybe you just have to continue to give him to the hammer, and he'll eventually break through. He did have the one where I think it was a third and short, 3rd and 2. He got hit in the backfield when the Ravens absolutely needed to score. Maybe it was the final drive. He gets hit in the backfield and he winds up picking the first down anyways. Maybe it's just situation again. You got to keep hammering. I give Kansas City a lot of credit, though. I thought the run defense was really good. I think the Ravens' offensive line, there was a question mark coming in, and I think there's a question mark coming out. So I don't think that the Ravens necessarily said, we're going to throw out the running game. I don't think Henry kept them ahead of the chains, and then they started with the flags, and Justice Hill, who's their third down guy and their pass catcher, you saw a lot of him because the situation called for it.
Right.
So I don't think it was a situation where Todd Monken says, you know what, to hell with this, I'm just going to get away from that running game.
But I think he does get pass happy. Like, there will be drives where
that's fair, but I don't think last night was an issue.
Nah, but it creeps up on him, in my opinion. There are times where he'll go, 3 or 4 passes in a row, and it's cool, but give the ball. You brought this man in. He has been, if you go look at Derrick Henry's high school stats in terms of how much he ran, he has been doing this his entire life. Mm-hmm. Hand him the football. Leave him the hell alone and hand him the ball. Mm-hmm. He's okay. Trust me. He's a big fella. He will run downhill. Give him the ball and get the hell out of his way. So, I understand getting behind the chains, and now it's 2nd and 15 or, 1st and 15, and no. He's a hammer. He will eventually bludgeon the defense to death. Trust me.
Yeah.
Hand him the ball.
I think Derrick Henry's going to be a guy that you need to have a lead. If you're the Ravens, second half, you have a lead. That's when I think Derrick Henry's going to do his damage. I texted somebody at halftime. I go, I don't think Derrick Henry's going to do much in the second half. I think they're going to be behind. They're going to be behind. They're going to use more Justice Hill. It's going to be more of Lamar running around. That wound up being the case.
Now, you mentioned the flags. I thought there were too many flags.
I think the NFL will correct that.
Yeah, not enough on Jawan Taylor, too. No. That guy. I mean, that guy just can't sit still.
No, he can't.
Guys, what did you think of Spags calling a timeout and them granting the timeout, even though the assistant coach can't call a timeout?
Right.
How do you overlook that as a referee? Like, how does the chief referee on the field?
It's got to be a penalty.
Yep.
The head referee let it go, though.
It's got to be a penalty.
How does he not go, well, no, one, you lose your timeout now because you can't do that, and two, the penalty going back the other way.
I had read something, and who knows, you just never know what's real and what's fake these days, but I had read something on Twitter last night that Andy Reid was trying to call a timeout to another referee on the sideline. The video obviously was Spags, but
right.
Andy Reid was down a little ways trying to call a timeout, but then they had Spags who ran to the other guy and was like, we got a timeout.
Right.
Now, that's not on video, so I wasn't there. No, exactly.
Like, the players can run over to the ref, the head coach can.
For sure.
But the assistant coaches cannot, even if they can't see the head
referee,
coach.
though.
But I think what Marsh is saying is maybe Reid had called the timeout before Spags got there. Because you could see Spags going, I'm sorry. I know. Like they were taught, like him and Reid were talking.
I think he got caught up in the moment.
Oh, definitely.
He thought he was the head coach.
Yeah. Well, they get the timeout, though, and they get a huge play on that. So whatever the case, it was a good time to call a timeout, and the Chiefs end up getting the stop, and I believe that's when they forced the field goal.
Yes. What an opening night.
But that's also on the referee. Like, the referee can't do that.
Yeah, take control. What an opening night in the NFL. We do have Packers and Eagles tonight. Pregame starting at 6:30, but you can listen to the game right here on 101 ESPN, and that's a fascinating matchup that I think we'll get into at some point. Unfortunately, we are already behind in the Pick'em Challenge to the Rizzuto show.
Yeah, wonder why.
Wait, Carey, you had the Ravens.
I said I had the Ravens.
Or not the Ravens. You had the Chiefs.
Oh, did I pick the Chiefs? Man, I thought I picked
Hey, good news. We're only down by 1.
I picked the Ravens.
Marsh did pick the Ravens. Carey, I thought you did.
Damn it, Marsh.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Did you flip or something, or did you just forget?
I don't remember.
He probably did it wrong.
I probably did. I don't know.
Well, nice job, Carey.
Yeah,
my bad.
Yeah. Go Chiefs.
Came down to a damn toe.
It did.
It did, but,
And then Harbaugh,
we're fine. We're not going to turn on each other after one night.
But how about Harbaugh right away going for the 2?
Oh, he was going.
Dan Campbell in
Why?
there.
Oh, yeah.
Well, you have to. On the road, in that moment, that's
You
the
don't
call.
have to, Carey. See, they have an option.
Well,
They
Jamie,
could have went. I know.
I don't necessarily.
You may not know a lot about football, so I'm going to help you out here, okay?
Okay.
They can kick an extra point for that's 1 point.
Okay.
Or they can go for 2, but you can't kick. It has to be
I was
a
watching the
touchdown.
game at the Dome, and they had like an opportunity to go for 3 or 4 or something like that. It was crazy.
Yeah, I know.
They have that rule.
That's different.
Hey, we'll sit down during the break. I'll explain it to you.
Okay, thanks. Appreciate it.
Nice job, Jamie. Good
I'm here for
teammate.
you.
Good teammate there. All right, it's Fast Line on 101 ESPN. Have we been looking at this Cardinals roster construction wrong the entire time? Interesting thoughts by Derek Gould, who joined the opening drive today. You'll hear the audio. We'll react to it next on 101 ESPN. Earlier today on the opening drive, Derek Gould of the Post-Dispatch covers the Cardinals, of course, longtime beat writer for them. He was on with Brooke Grimsley and Dan McLaughlin and Randy Carricker. And one of the things that Brooke asked him was about the roster construction. And this was kind of an interesting take by Derek Gould. And it got us thinking about whether or not we've been looking at this roster construction for the Cardinals in the wrong manner. First, here's Derek Gould responding to Brooke's question.
I thought that it was very interesting that they hotwired this roster for a quick teardown. Like, I thought that was like a real interesting subplot to last year's winter, is that they just set it up so that if they wanted to, it was a game of Jenga.
And you're talking about like Lynn and Gibson and these guys that are on one-year deals.
Right, or Ryan Helsley, who's about to have an expired contract. Paul Goldschmidt, whose contract is expiring. I mean, just up and down the lineup, you could make the case that like that it was a Jenga roster, right? They could pull out whatever brick they wanted. If they wanted to fine-tune, do it at the top. If they wanted to make a quick reset, they could do it at the bottom. I thought it was really fascinating how they set up this roster to do that, and then that continued, right? Like you mentioned, Lance Lynn, Kyle Gibson, these guys are on, they have options for next year. Steven Matz and Miles Michaelis, they could be moved. They have only a year remaining on their deal. Ryan Helsley, who could command a lot of attention, has 1 year, of control left. If the Cardinals really wanted to cash in, they could have traded him at the deadline, similar to what the Yankees did a few years ago with Chapman and Andrew Miller. And you look at what the quick turnaround was for the Yankees at that point in time, and they still have players from those deals back in 2016 that are playing for them now. So, I was really intrigued by the fact that you could do that with this roster, and I don't really think that that has changed all that much, except for they have not proven to be a team to do something that dramatic. But you could refresh this team with a few moves. I mean, you add a hitter via trade, this team looks a lot different, and they've done that.
So a lot to unpack. This is really interesting. So I think if I have this correctly, Derek was kind of talking about the Cardinals taking an approach similar to what the Royals did a year ago when they brought in Aroldis Chapman and they wound up trading him and they got Cole Raggins in the deal with Texas. We've seen other teams do this. I remember the Giants doing this where they signed free agents and then flipped them at the deadline when they knew that they were out of it. It is interesting, and Derek's right. Maybe we should give the Cardinals a little credit for having that approach to the roster, saying we're going to add some veterans that maybe we can flip at the deadline. But you didn't flip them at the deadline. So this is kind of my issue with the Cardinals.
And you're not flipping Aroldis Chapman either.
Correct.
But you are flipping, or could have been flipping, the league leader in saves in Ryan Helsley.
Could have.
But I'm even talking about, you could have, but I'm more talking about just sticking with what Derek said, and that you bring in Lance Lynn, a 1 year deal. You bring in Kyle Gibson, 1 year deal. You got these guys that are on 1 year contracts. At least if I'm understanding what Derek is saying, the Cardinals thought, well, if we're out of it again, we can flip those guys.
See, I don't see it like that. I see it as, let's see how this year goes, and then we have all these guys who could come off the books next season, and then let's see where this roster is. If this was a good roster, then maybe we run it back, and now that it's not, at least we have some expiring contracts or guys that we could potentially get rid of, and then we can have a clean slate.
I mean, that makes sense from a bridge standpoint. That's what we've talked about before, about bridging the gap between now and next season, but you can't evaluate whether or not these guys are playing well?
So here's my interpretation of this, is they built the roster to where they could, if they were close enough or they were doing well, they could add at the deadline and level up, so to say, or they could liquidate, whether that be at the trade deadline or following the season. They're not married to a whole bunch of contracts with term. The worst thing that could have happened for the Cardinals did happen for the Cardinals. They were in the gray area come trade deadline time. They were close enough to say they're close, but not far enough out to say they're done. And so that there may have screwed up some things to where maybe you could have traded Ryan Helsley and got a nice little haul for him. Maybe you could have traded player X, Y, or Z, but you couldn't because you were so close that you thought, We'll add Eric Fetty, Tommy Pham. They thought Tommy Pham was going to be that platoon right bat off the bench. That didn't work out the way they wanted. Eric Fetty's been fine, but they've lost ground since then. So this is where that model for this season doesn't make sense. But now moving into next season, it will open up a significant amount of spots for them if they choose to. We'll see what they do.
The thought process, in my opinion, was flawed, though. Like, you wanted a right-handed bat off the bench. Hell, your lineup, your everyday lineup, right-handed bats aren't hitting well enough. So why do you want to go trade for a bat off of the bench when you need a bat in the lineup? Like, you needed more. If you were going to make a run or a push for the playoffs, you needed more than what you got, and they didn't get enough. So it's almost like you said, the gray area. Then you should have been selling at the trade deadline, because you were not the choices that you made to bring in the additions you made. One, Sean Armstrong is no longer here. Tommy Pham, he's no longer here. Eric Fetty, he's here, but sometimes, right? So you didn't do nearly enough at the trade deadline to make a team that was in the gray area or middling better. You just made a team in the gray area, middling team, more middling.
Right.
Like, it was nothing that was done. And so I'm of the belief that even though they have these contracts where they have club options for Kyle Gibson and Lance Lynn, I think they'll be back on. One of them will be back on the roster next year. Maybe not both, but one of them. Like, I've learned enough from this team to know that they're not, to me, when somebody shows you who they are, believe them. They haven't shown me the ability to go all the way outside of the box, which would be no more Steven Matz, no more Lance Lynn, no more Kyle Gibson. Those guys wouldn't, maybe no more Miles Michaelis. Those guys wouldn't be on the roster, because you would be trying to transition into younger pitchers that can perform at least on the same level or maybe better. That's not who they are. They've shown you who they are time and time again. It's time to start believing them, because these guys, along with Paul Goldschmidt, in my opinion, will all be on the roster next year.
Yeah, I don't think Gibson or Lynn will be back. I think where the Cardinals will pivot to is they'll keep Michaelis and Matz in that rotation with Sonny Gray, Eric Fetty, and then they'll say the fifth spot's up for competition. And they'll do this because they're going to think to themselves, well, we're already paying these guys. We better use them, which is why I think they'll push Lynn and Gibson out, because they're not going to bring those guys on.
Is that much different than what you have now, though?
No, it's not. I'm not saying it is.
So
I'm not saying it's better. I'm not saying anything. I'm saying that's what the Cardinals will do.
It's essentially what they added Palante this year, Andre Palante. That's the addition. Younger guy addition. So they're going to add one more younger guy next year.
I don't know what. I'm just telling you what the Cardinals will do, because they've already sunk in money into those two players. They're not going to sit. They're not going to pay them to sit at home.
Jamie, you've been to the casino a time or two, I'm sure, right?
Oh, yes.
Like, I love the casino, but I had to learn a while ago. Like, it's called, you don't go chasing your money. Those lights on at the casino, they're on for a reason. People like to chase the money. Get up and walk away, man. You already spent what you spent. You don't have to keep putting money into it.
I agree.
You don't have to keep going
that's
back.
Very un-Cardinals-esque.
Well, that's not wise business.
I'm just telling you.
I do think, though, that if you do get rid of Lynn and Gibson, I think it is a step in the right direction. And I think that the starting rotation could be better if you bring up a guy like Michael McGreevy, who we'll probably talk about today. He's been looking great in AAA, and he looked great in his one start here with the Cardinals. If you bring him into the mix, let's say Steven Matz is in your rotation, and let's say he gets injured again. Well, then what do? You bring up another one of the young guys, and they're right there waiting, chomping at the bit to get into the rotation. Otherwise, if you don't do that, then yeah, you're probably going to have a similar type season. But I do think the starting rotation gets incrementally better, and then you get incrementally better. I'm not saying it's like something I'd like to see, but if that is the case, I do think next year's starting rotation could be better than what we're seeing now.
Why do you have to wait for Steven Matz to get injured, though? Like, because he's shown an inability. No, I'm saying, but he's already shown an inability to stay healthy. So why do you need this? Why do you need to run that back again to see it?
I don't think you need to see anything. I think that the Cardinals are going to look at it as it's money that they've already committed.
You can't trade them. You're not going to get anything if you try to trade them.
Then what are you doing with him?
Oh, sometimes you got to. I got a song. Know when to hold them. Know when to fold them. Know when to stand up.
You found that one too?
Yeah.
So you're going to
know when to walk away.
You're going to eat his contract and Miles Michaelis' contract?
You keep one of them.
With the way the projections are going for them financially, and with the RSN money not being there, no chance they no chance they eat that money. None.
Yeah, you're right.
Get ready to be frustrated again.
Marsh, I understand what you're saying. Like, hey, they brought in these guys and they can move on next year. That's what one-year contracts are. And maybe Derek was surprised by that because they typically don't do that. I'm good with that approach. But how much more time do you need to evaluate whether or not Kyle Gibson or Lance Lynn or any of these guys should be in your rotation next year? Like I don't understand that.
Who's to say that, like Lance Lynn, he's not back yet.
Right.
And
I think
were
they've
talking
already
about
decided.
when he does come back, where is he going?
I don't think he's coming back, guys. That's just my opinion.
Well, either way, but like even Kyle Gibson, like you need a full month of Kyle Gibson to know. Well, we're gonna run this back.
Well,
next year.
and that's where they're at right now because they still mathematically are in a playoff position.
Oh, I just threw up.
But that's the truth. That is the
It
truth.
is the truth. You're
Marshy's
right.
not speaking wrong here. Like,
I'm
not saying
mad at you.
No,
I'm
I
not
know.
saying
I
he
know
is.
you're mad at the
It's just-
situation, which I completely understand. I'm just saying that and Jamie brought it up from where they were at the trade deadline. They were in a gray area, and they're kind of in that situation right now because they're not completely out of a playoff spot. They've been playing good baseball lately, and Kyle Gibson, you probably trust him more so than a young guy who really hasn't had any experience at the major league level.
Right.
When you're in slightly still a playoff push.
Yeah, you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't.
It is what it is.
Welcome to the Cardinals. All right, lineup game next on 101 ESPN.
101 ESPN Sports Center.
I'm Andrew Marsh. It's time for a Sports Center update driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. The Cardinals take on the Seattle Mariners tonight. Eric Fetty on the mound going up against Bryce Miller. First pitch is at 7:15. We have the lineup game coming up next, so stay tuned for that. We'll reveal who will be batting and where they will be playing tonight. So stay tuned for the lineup game. Last night, Kansas City defeated Baltimore 27-20. We have more NFL action for you tonight on 101 ESPN as the Packers take on the Eagles in Brazil with the pregame starting at 6:30. I'm Andrew Marsh, and the Sports Center update is driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. See them at londoff.com. Chevy, together we drive. Are you kidding me?
Time to play the lineup game here in the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN with Andrew Marsh, Carey Davis, Jamie Rivers. I'm Anthony Stalter. The Cardinals open up a new series tonight against the Seattle Mariners at Busch Stadium. It'll be Bryce Miller, the right-hander for Seattle, versus Eric Fetty, the right-hander for your Cardinals. All right, boys, right-hander on the mound in Miller. Carey?
Show us Mason Wynn.
I'm watching the Futures game, and this thing's all over Instagram. It's like, this guy threw a ball 100 across the time. That's awesome, but, like, how many throwing errors does he have?
Shut up! Oh, my God!
Jamie?
Alec Burleson, please.
You know, kind of closed my eyes and swung at it and did what I wanted to do.
Bully to the rescue!
Running back with Paul Goldschmidt.
Yeah.
Show us Paul Goldschmidt.
Gold! Rich with gold! Gold!
Show us Nolan Arenado.
He's a Gold Glove winner and perennial All-Star.
Oh, listen to Mr. Gold Glove over here.
Come on. All right, this was Donnie.
This was Donnie.
Show us Brendan Donovan.
Donnie.
Hey, this headband's pretty cool.
That was kind of sinister.
That was.
Kind of was.
Yeah.
Yeah. Were you like Batman?
Thank you. Would you like to play a game?
Whoa. That's sounds like the guy living in your walls.
Yeah. I still hear Batman.
Sorry, guys.
Gotham City.
I'm Batman.
I'm Batman. All
What
right.
do we have here?
This was Newt before.
This is the Newt.
Two lefties,
Yeah.
back to back.
Carey,
Yeah.
I'm telling you, they're crazy today. They'll do it. Go ahead.
Show us Lars Newbar.
What
I
makes
told you.
Good job,
They're
Jimmy.
savages down there
Turn me
today.
into a newt.
All right. So
Newt. Got better.
last time it was. Well, it wasn't Walker, but I think Walker's
Walker's
back in the
got to
middle.
play.
He's playing today.
He's right here.
Show us Jordan Walker.
What's his angle?
What angle?
Launch!
Launching now.
Yeah, since he's going to play every game and then you're going to sit him one.
Okay, Jamie.
But don't say stuff then, Anthony.
He needed a day off.
They say stuff all the time and then they do something different.
Don't listen to them.
Gosh. Huh?
What do they know?
I don't know.
I do.
All right, is this Petey Pages?
Yes.
Your guy.
I think it is. Show us. Peter Pages.
Well, for better.
All right, so does Turbo get in this one or you stick with Siani?
I think it's Siani.
So Victor Scott doesn't play anymore?
No.
Okay. You do it.
Okay,
Anthony?
go ahead.
Show us Michael Siani.
Michael.
There it is.
Michael.
That's a perfect lineup.
Michael.
You're not Michael Phelps. You're Michael Cera.
Is it bad I'm not excited that we got it?
Yeah, it is. We need to celebrate victories around here.
I know, but I feel like it's just
Perfect games.
Yeah, we got a perfect game.
Why are you not happy?
Yeah.
I'm happy, but
You don't look it.
Well, I didn't hear you guys celebrate.
I mean,
Well, it's
we
just
didn't-
business as usual.
Okay, but why did you not celebrate? Like usually we have like, hey!
Because
And
it's
we didn't do
a
it.
Kirk
you wanna do
Cousins
it
type
again?
moment.
You want to do it again?
So how do we do it?
Show us Michael Siani.
Ding.
Michael.
You're not Michael Phelps. You're Michael Cera.
Yeah. Nice. Good job,
Good job,
guys.
guys.
Well done. Perfect lineup for us. And the Cardinals victory tonight for them.
For
Way
sure.
to go. All right, Marsh.
Maybe.
Run this thing.
Maybe. All right, leading off the
Seattle
shortstop.
can't hit, so.
Mason Wynn batting second, the DH. Alec Burleson batting third, first baseman Paul Goldschmidt. Your cleanup hitter, third baseman. No. Batting fifth, second baseman Brendan Donovan. Batting sixth in left field, Lars Nukbar. Batting seventh in right field, Jordan Walker. Batting eighth, catching Pedro Pajes. Batting ninth in center field, Michael, I'm Batman, Ciani.
Oh, that was good.
That was good.
That was really good. Good job, Marsh.
Back. Stay fair! Stay fair!
Go foul, go foul!
I don't believe what I just saw. Home run.
All right, we all know the standings. Marsh, go ahead.
Ooh, I get to go first today?
We're
Jamie,
tied.
Jamie, go first.
Did I let you go first last time, Marsh?
You did. You can go first this
Are you
time.
sure?
That's very
Yeah,
kind.
that's fine.
No, you go ahead. It's fine.
No, I don't want to go. You go.
Okay, fine. I'll go. With that attitude, damn right I'll go.
Tell him.
Luke and Baker.
Damn it!
Off the bench, baby.
I'm kidding. Yeah, right.
Trying to bury the needle here. Yep.
Yeah, I'm going to
On
go.
all of you.
I'm going back to Paul Goldschmidt.
Oh, I get it because they're playing Seattle. I got you. Nice job.
No, you bury the needle when you push the gas. You bury the needle, they call that.
I thought you were talking about the Space Needle.
Yeah. No, not this time in particular.
Are you surprised it's not called the C needle?
Yeah, I am.
Won't that
Since
make
it's
sense?
Seattle.
Yeah,
Right?
I think the
Is that what
C
you mean
needle.
by that?
Yeah.
the Sea Needle.
Yeah. That's in. I think that's in SpongeBob actually, but
Is it?
I think so. Could be wrong on
Is
that
that
one.
the SpongeBob movie? You ever seen the SpongeBob movie with David Hasselhoff?
Yeah, they rode the Hasselhoff.
Yep.
They sure did. You haven't seen it?
No.
Oh,
see
the
it.
kids
You
are
gotta
missing
watch
out.
it.
It's
Yeah.
It's a great movie.
Don't be that guy.
I'm not a fan.
Don't
Do
be
it on Saturday.
I already am that guy. You're already talking to the guy that hasn't seen Space Jam.
It's not about you.
You haven't seen Space Jam either?
No.
Or
refuse.
Top Gun.
No,
I didn't see that.
I did see Top Gun for about 13 minutes. I saw all I needed to see. I knew what kind of movie that you guys were trying to
Your
make me
children
watch.
will love the SpongeBob movie. Just throw together a nice Makers, and it'll be fantastic.
Let them have at it.
Got to the Makers last night.
Did you?
Yeah.
I didn't see any mean tweets.
No, I was happy.
4 Roses. You ever had that?
Oh, yeah.
Had a few of those last night.
Those are good. I like putting that in an old-fashioned.
That's what I had.
A little bite.
Had a few of them.
Marsh, did you go?
Yeah, I'm picking
sorry.
Paul Goldschmidt.
There it is.
Oh, there it is. Sorry about that.
Sorry about that. Got off track.
Squirrel. No, no.
Give me Matt Carpenter.
Off the biz inch.
He does that really well.
All right, give me Alec Burleson.
You're just gonna
He's been.
climb your way back in.
I got a month.
He's been
I'm
ice
taking the
cold.
Cardinals' viewpoint on this. I'm still in it.
Oh gosh.
So I'm just gonna keep plugging away. You know, you guys were watching the SpongeBob. I was watching the little engine that could.
No,
All
check it,
right,
check it,
and he
check it,
just
check it.
kept doing his thing, right?
Hey.
And eventually, he was counted on.
Anthony, that's literally it's literally the plot of the SpongeBob movie.
like Rudolph the Red-Nosed
Pretty
Reindeer.
much.
that's,
Yeah.
that's the exact
Yeah?
plot of the SpongeBob movie.
All those other reindeers treated Rudolph like crap.
You're describing the SpongeBob movie.
Did it bother anybody else that all those other reindeers like bullied Rudolph?
They did bully him.
Yeah,
then-
big time.
And then when they needed him, it was okay. It's like, I don't like you until I need you, but now that I need you, I'm going to use you.
It was
I
terrible.
wanted Rudolph to be like, hey, why don't you just go blank yourself
right.
and go off to the bar and get loaded?
Exactly.
And be like, no, I can't fly. I don't drink and fly.
Remember those games you didn't get me into? Huh? I'm gonna have my own game.
My own
Down at the
casino
bar.
games going over here at the bar.
Santa, I'll see you down there. All right, it's Fastlane on 101 ESPN. We got what's trending next.
Auto centers.
Stalter back with you for Auto Centers Nissan. It's time to head down to Herculaneum because the fall savings, time to fall into savings. You guys see what I did there. It's approaching fall. Auto Centers got the big savings going on. Thank you, Jamie. Now's the time. The Auto Centers Nissan, they're hooking you up. Best financing rates and biggest discounts of 2024. How about 0% APR on select new Nissans like Pathfinders, Rogues, Altimas. Financing terms as long as 84 months. Yep, it's happening, and it's down at Herculaneum. at Auto Centers Nissan. Plus, they're throwing in thousands in Nissan bonus cash and dealer discounts. It's their lowest prices of the year. If you need to give your bank account a little bit of a break, they've got the no payments for 3 months on select new Nissan vehicles, both new and used vehicles. And with over 700 vehicles all in one spot, you're bound to find the perfect ride. First-time buyers, anybody with any kind of credit issues, you can get a break as well, because at Auto Centers Nissan, they've got financing options for everyone. As always, 30-day new car return promise, complimentary lifetime warranty on new Nissans and used vehicles, complimentary 1-year maintenance on new Nissan purchases. It's AutoCentersNissan.com. That's where you can start. But when you head out there this weekend and you head out to Herculaneum, tell them Stalter sent you. It's Auto Centers Nissan.
It's time to find out what's going on in the sports world with What's Trending Now. Brought to you by Goodwill. Donate a car and get tickets to the St. Louis Cardinals.
Welcome back to the Fast Lane here on 101 ESPN with Anthony Stalter, Jamie Rivers, and Carey Davis. I'm Andrew Marsh, and it's time for What's Trending. Jamie, you had the chance to go to the St. Louis Sports Hall of Fame enshrinement dinner last night. 1, how was it? And 2, do you have any good stories for us? I saw a lot of characters that were at the dinner last night.
Yeah, first of all, it was an unbelievable event. The MAC downtown, they always do such a great job with these big events. You know, the Blues Hall of Fame dinner and the St. Louis Sports Hall of Fame. Yeah, very well done. So many people there. It was awesome. Tons of Blues alumni. Steve Ott, Alex Steen were there. Tom Stillman was there. Representation for the Blues. And the stories were awesome. Like Kenny Wallace was there interviewing one of the inductees, and Kenny Wallace, the man can talk. He's hilarious, but I forget the other gentleman's name. It's not coming to me right now, but he's another race car driver, and he asked him about how he got started. And he says, well, my dad took an axle, put it in the ground, and tied the go-kart to it. Because I wasn't old enough to go driving. So he's like, all I did is go round in circles for hours. He goes, until this thing ran out of gas.
Yeah.
And he goes, and I'm still driving round and round in circles.
That's good.
So it's pretty funny, hearing that. And then, of course, Steven Jackson got inducted as well, which was awesome. Steven Jackson's such a good dude. Carey, I don't know if you know him at all.
I've met him a couple of times.
Such a good dude. Anthony, you know this. I've told you before. Steven Jackson and Anthony Hargrove lived in my little subdivision with 25 houses. And Steven lived about 7 or 8 houses down. Anthony lived like right across the street. And, Anthony was a bit wild. People here should know that. He was a little wild, young, out of control guy. Great dude. Steven was way more reserved, quiet, and his mom lived with him at the time. We'd go down there, the kids would go down there and say hi to him and whatnot. He was always such a great dude. But seeing him last night, he's still such an awesome individual. I got a chance to catch up with him following the dinner, and we had some laughs from times that we had been together in our subdivision. So that was cool. And then Kelly Chase, he was the last one to go, and it was fitting. It really was fitting. Tyson Nash got up there too, and just telling stories back and forth, and it was a really fun evening for everybody there. At times when you're hearing some of these stories, you don't want them to end.
Yeah.
And some of them aren't radio friendly. Chaser doesn't hold back at all with the story. So what you are going to hear is what he wants you to hear, and that's just whether you like it or not.
Yeah.
You can get up and get out of the room if you don't like it. Nobody left. Nobody left. They stuck around, and it was just a great evening. Our very own Randy Carricker was inducted as well.
Okay.
And he had some great stories too about with Joe Buck and our Jack Buck, and just going back in time and whatnot. It was a really interesting night. I had a great time.
That's awesome. I told you my Chaser story. So I was producing the Fast Lane, and we were down at Enterprise. So we're there, and Chaser was on the morning show earlier that day, and he dropped a curse word.
Oh yeah.
So the Blues were going to send Chaser back to the Fast Lane. Well, program director at the time said to me, texted me, because I texted him, I said, hey, we're getting Kelly Chase on at whatever time. And the program director shot me a text back. He goes, under no circumstances do you put Kelly Chase on the air. He cursed earlier today. I don't know if he's going to do it again. We can't take that, that chance. Now, I'd been in the job not very long. Don't know Chaser at all. So
it's a good thing that Chaser's a timid personality.
Yeah. I knew of him, of course. I knew him as a hockey player. I didn't know him personally within the media and things like that. So he's coming. He's walking. I now see him because we're in the concourse, and I see him walking over. I'm like, okay, here we go. So I go up to him. I said, hey, Chaser, I'm Anthony. I'm the producer of the Fast Lane. He's like, oh yeah. I said, hey, I can't put you on the air. I was flat out, I was just blunt. He goes, what do you mean? I go, well, program director, mentioned that you had cursed on the air earlier today, and, we're not going to have you on. He goes, okay. He goes, well, why don't you tell the program director to go fast lane himself? And you can also go fast lane yourself. Moved past me, sat right down. Randy's like, hey, Kelly Chase is here. He's on the air. Program director's calling me. He's like, why is he on there? I go, well, here's the thing. And I quote, you go fast lane yourself, and I told me to go fast lane myself. So here we are. Sat down right in my seat, too. I'm like, well,
have you had a conversation since?
Nope. I haven't talked to him since.
Oh, that's hilarious.
One day we're going to get you guys in the same room.
I'm sure you wouldn't remember that.
That's hilarious.
It was so quick.
It's like a Rafe and Brian Jordan story.
Yeah. He's like, and I think he knew the program director's name. He goes, is that that's his name? He goes, all right, well, tell him to go himself, and you can go yourself. Walked right past him. I'm like, all right, cool. Sounds good.
And then Randy's like, oh, come on in, Chase.
Randy's like, come on in. And I didn't even think Chaser said something on air, too. He's like, your producer you said I couldn't come on air. And Randy's like, what? Don't worry about him. Oh, thanks, Randy. Thank you. I feel real supported right now. Phone blowing up.
Oh, man.
This is awesome.
Yep. So,
hey, you tried, Anthony. That's all that matters.
You did your job.
I was honest.
My guy.
I was honest with him. So, yeah.
I checked the video.
All right, it's the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN with Andrew Marsh, Carey Davis, Jamie Rivers. I'm Anthony Stalter. The Ravens lose last night to the Chiefs, and a couple of different questions. I think we could take this in a couple of different directions here. One, are the Chiefs unquestionably still the team to beat? And the Ravens, are they still the same team? Do they still have the same issues from what they had in the AFC title game? So in other words, did anything improve for them? That's next on 101 ESPN. Week one of the NFL season continues tonight. You got Eagles and Packers. It should be a really interesting game, so to speak, off the field.
Well, you don't worry about all that other stuff. So green in and get out.
We're not supposed to wear green or something, right?
Yeah.
I just saw a video of Philly Eagles fans painted green and wearing green.
Oh,
Probably not good.
Right in front of the big Jesus statue, you know, that beautiful.
Yep.
I don't think they should do that. Talking about. Yeah, I don't know.
Well, be careful.
Yep,
That's all
be
we can
careful
say.
out there.
Yeah, have fun. Have fun out there. The Chiefs knock off the Ravens 27-20. We'll just start off with the easy question first. The Chiefs are the team to beat, period. Chiefs are the team to beat in the AFC. They're the team to beat in the Super Bowl. This is a team that is so loaded with premium talent and toughness. I mean, we didn't even really talk about the defense that much. Chris Jones had himself another hell of a game last night. You know, they trade away Snead and had no issues in the secondary. Steve Spagnuolo, the best defensive coordinator in the league. Andy Reid, the best head coach. Patrick Mahomes, the best quarterback. I know the Ravens made it a game. I know that Isaiah likely nearly came down with that potentially game-winning touchdown had they gone for two and made it. But this is the Chiefs are in a league all to themselves. Anybody disagree with that?
I wouldn't say by themselves. I mean, last night was a great opening night, but again, you were a toenail away from potentially losing that game. So I don't think it's as far off as maybe you are saying it is. I think the Ravens, even though they lost the game yesterday, they played really well. They had an opportunity. All you can ask for is an opportunity to try to win the game at the end. They put themselves in a position to do so. Again, it was a toe that prevented them from scoring that touchdown. And
But did it feel like a toe game to you, Carey?
It feels like
man, the Ravens are so close.
You know what? It's hard. The first game of the year is always first couple of games of the year are always going to be hard. You're going to have poor tackling. You're going to have penalties. Mm-hmm. The number of penalties that the Ravens had last night to start the game with the offensive line and the alignment issues, like those things will get corrected.
Yep.
I don't take too much. I don't concern myself one way or the other. First game of the season. Now, both teams I think are going to be there at the end. I think they're going to be playing for the AFC Championship. One of them should be representing the AFC in the Super Bowl. But I don't think it's Kansas City and everybody else in the field. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't say that right now.
You have to play perfectly to beat them. Mm-hmm. You have to play a perfect game.
Ravens didn't play a perfect game last night, and they were a toenail away from being there.
But neither did the Chiefs, though.
What happened when the Chiefs
drop
played
ball? Worthy could have had 3 touchdowns last night.
Yeah. They had 3, I think up to 3.
Kelsey dropped the ball.
Yep.
Like, they did not play perfect at all either, and they still beat you.
I agree. So the 2 tight ends, by the way, Mark Andrews, who was, a ghost last night, and so was Kelsey.
Yeah, he was a non-factor.
I had to bet the board Kelsey over 56.5 yards. I came nowhere close to that. I mean, he was not utilized. Now, maybe the Chiefs can beat you in a variety of ways. It might be Travis Kelce's game next week. He does have to go against a stout Ravens defense that have great safeties, but he decimated them last year too. So I don't know. Any concerns about? I'm concerned about Mark Andrews.
I don't know what that was.
I don't know phasing him out,
and I don't know why that would be. Like I was surprised to see Isaiah likely leading the team in receiving yards and receptions, and Mark Andrews not having as many opportunities. Like Mark Andrews is an elite tight end when you put the ball in his hand. Now last year he got hurt, missed a lot of time, but I don't know what that.
I wonder if he's got his lower half to him.
You think he's still dealing with the lower leg injuries and not all the way 100%? Because it was an ankle, or was it a knee?
It was one of those drop tackles, knee, ankle, whole mess.
He was also in a car accident, I believe.
Andrews was?
I believe so.
I may have missed that.
Let me check it real quick. But he was dealing with something in the training camp at preseason, but it wasn't anything crazy. But also, I think the offensive line wasn't that great for the Ravens, where you're having to use him to block.
They replaced several starters on Baltimore's offensive line. Staley had all the infractions. So no, you're right. That was an issue coming into the season. John in the Snake Pit says P. Ryan dropped one, and so did Pacheco. That's right.
Pacheco did drop one. We call it a rail route down the sideline. He got hit. He should have caught that one. That was a drop.
Chris Collinsworth I thought he was right though. It's like you throw that, you lead him that, he should have caught it. You lead a receiver that way, he's got it. You lead a tight end that way, he's got it.
He was in a car accident August 14th.
Okay,
so
we don't make those excuses, Anthony. You're running back. You got to catch the ball too.
Hey, all I know is what you have told me before, in that Illinois tried to phase you out of the passing game.
Yeah,
and I didn't like that at all.
At one point, I was dropping everything. I don't really blame him. I was like,
Carey, you had your back there for a minute.
I couldn't catch anything at that point.
You're like Jamie on the get off the ice, get off the field.
We're
trying to throw the ball.
I don't care. Get off.
So the Ravens, have they changed at all since a year ago, or do they have the same exact problems?
See, I don't think it is.
It's really similar.
But to me, Lamar Jackson had almost 400 yards of total offense. Again, the runs that you see, he's a couple of them scrambling, obviously, because he's unable to find a receiver downfield. But the ones where it's schemed, where he's trying to, where it's a read option, where he can hand it off or keep it himself, that's because of who you have in the backfield with him. Gus Edwards wasn't going to attract that type of attention. J.K. Dobbins, maybe, but he was always hurt.
Right.
They got a guy now that people have to have their eyes on, and you're going to see Lamar Jackson have an incredible time running the football as well, because that scheme is built. Marshy was sending that text yesterday, Michael Vick or Lamar Jackson. It's still Michael Vick, hands down.
Come on, bro.
It's still Michael Vick.
I was arguing for Michael Vick.
Oh,
I
okay.
asked for the damn video that Anthony loves to watch.
I thought you were on the other side of that.
No, I was trying to convince my buddies.
Yeah.
Dude, it was Michael
Do you
Vick.
not remember Michael Vick was a dude back in the day?
It's still Vick.
Yeah,
like
but
Lamar's special.
different.
Vick was.
But you're going to see a lot of this from Lamar. And I think, they played a really good team tonight. But I don't expect them to struggle. Now, again, you brought Derrick Henry in. When you're running that read option, you're either handing it off or keeping it, depending on what the defense is telling you to do. They're going to have to call some actual run plays where there is no option. You hand the damn ball off to Derrick Henry 15 to 25 times a game, 15 to 20 times a game, and let him go downhill. That takes away the option of Lamar having an opportunity to run, because the play is called for him to run, for Derrick Henry to run the ball. If they do that, I think they'll be fine.
Why didn't they do that, though?
Because what was being allowed to do, because if you're running that play and that defensive end is crashing down, he's going to tackle the running back, and now we're going to escape outside. So but eventually, defenses are going to say, well, we're not going to let Lamar beat us because he can run and pass. I think Derrick Henry will be fine. I think the Ravens will be fine.
I think they'll be fine, too. I just think that, one, they got behind constantly. Behind the script. I don't mean behind in the game necessarily, because they did have a 7-0 lead. But they got behind script consistently. The penalties didn't help. And then as soon as Derrick Henry's not a 3-down back. He can't catch. So anytime they got, 3rd and 8 or longer, Hill was in the game. Well, that was almost the entire first half.
Yeah.
And when he was in there and they were trying to run on 1st and 10, Spagnuolo had that thing bottled up. Yeah. So I think it's a combination of things. Plus, if everybody's down in the box and because you're not taking your deep shots downfield, Marshy had brought that up earlier. Everybody's right there. Your safeties walk down. Your linebackers are keying on the run. I gotta give the Chiefs some credit.
I also I didn't like how they went about it. Like they go for it on 4th down in the second quarter.
Yeah.
The season just started.
Dan Campbell showed up at Arrowhead.
Yes,
I was like, what is he doing?
You watch your mouth.
You can't get in one of those types of games with the Chiefs. Like it's all about where you possess the ball. And that was one concern for me. Also, Lamar Jackson cannot have games like this every single game.
Yeah, he's going to get hurt.
Otherwise, he's going to get hurt. Yeah. And you won't have a quarterback.
I love that competitive fire. I really do. I love when he turned it up. But
Lamar is different, man.
Lamar gave the cold shoulder there.
Yeah.
Headed to the sidelines and went,
bop. And he's like, I'm not going out.
Lamar is
wanted
different.
That, man.
Yeah, Lamar is different. I don't concern myself. I think
he is different, but he's been injured before.
I think,
yes,
man.
He has injured.
I think the Ravens will be fine. And they got David Ojabo, who a 2nd-round pick from a couple of years ago out of Michigan, who would have been a 1st-round pick had he not torn his Achilles on his pro day, I believe. He got a sack last night. I think they'll be fine. I think the Ravens. Are fine.
Yeah. This isn't. To me, this is the conversation based on the Ravens playing the Chiefs, playing some of the other top teams, not whether or not the Ravens are going to, not be good this year. Yeah, I think they're going to be very good.
And they were good last year, and if we're comparing if they look like the team last year, that's still a pretty damn good team. You 100%. Went to the AFC Championship game, and you probably should have won that game. But why did they lose that game? Why did they lose last night? Because they refused to run the ball with their running backs.
You get behind the chains, it becomes
and
difficult.
you rely.
You gotta,
yeah.
So what they have to do is be better on first down. Like when if you're throwing on first down and now it's 2nd and 10 because you got an incomplete pass, now you're basically telling the defense we're probably going to run the football. It's going to be 3rd and 6, and now what are you doing? You run, so you go pass, run, pass. Like you can't be predictable in what you're doing offensively. Sometimes you have to run the ball on first down. Sometimes play action pass, taking a shot. I agree with you guys. You got to take a shot sometimes, but if you got a too high safety look, meaning both of those guys, you're running the damn ball, and you should. And there's nobody that can. I won't argue with anybody about that. If you got 2 safeties high, I mean they're not going to allow you to throw the ball deep. Run the damn ball, and that's what they did last night, and they did it well. They just didn't. They didn't score enough points.
Why do you think the Chiefs completely changed their approach? Every team was playing too high on them. Every single team. Right. So they went to the short passing game and they ran the ball with Pacheco. That's their offense now. They don't want to get beat deep. And as soon as they go to a single high safety, Mahomes is like, "Thank you. I'm gonna take my shot now." So good luck defending that Chiefs team. It's the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. It is 3:13. Your time check is brought to you by Clarkson Jewelers, an officially licensed Rolex jeweler. Do the Cardinals have to spend to improve? Some interesting comments on payroll from Derek Gould, who joined the opening drive earlier today. We'll get into that next on 101 ESPN.
If you're unhappy with your windows right now, maybe they're not efficient, costing you more money with your heating and cooling, or maybe they're ugly, they're old, you're just not doing it anymore, call Window World. They are simply the best for less. They're the preferred window of your St. Louis Blues. Also, Window World windows are one of the 2 windows with the Good Housekeeping seal of approval. They're also ranked number 1 in number of windows sold in the country by Qualified Remodeler magazine. Why are they such good windows? Because they are made with a double-strength glass that gives it a strength not commonly used in replacement windows. I know this because I have stood on one in the showroom, and it did not break. It's a fantastic window, and not only for the breakage, but the efficiency as well. Window World also gives you a lifetime warranty that covers all the parts, glass breakage, and labor. And right now, offering up to 36 months same as cash financing with approved credit. All you have to do is call them. But when you call them, tell them Jamie from 101 ESPN sent you in there, and that qualifies you immediately for Blues tickets to a game this season. And that number is 314-993-1800. That's 314-993-1800. Or you can always visit them at windowworldstlouis.com.
the Post-Dispatch, outstanding beat writer for the Cardinals, joined the opening drive earlier today. We played some of the audio earlier. This one was also interesting to us. So Dan McLaughlin asked earlier today about the Cardinals payroll situation in 2025. And this was Derek Gould's response, and it's kind of interesting for a variety of reasons. We'll let you hear the audio, and then we'll react to it. Here's Derek Gould.
So this year the payroll went up, and it's probably going to be the biggest payroll they've ever had. In over $200 million for the first time, and early on in this season they got the payment from Bally, from Diamond Sports, their rights, their broadcast partner. They got the full payment, and it was very clear that they were going to get that, despite what's going on elsewhere in that area. Next year is not a guarantee. How this all plays out, it's going to pinch teams. It's going to pinch the finances. It's going to slow one of the biggest revenue sources for a lot of teams. What they had counted on to be a torrent of profit is now going to slow to a trickle for a few years, and then it's going to be back to the torrent again once they get the streaming thing figured out. But it's going to have a few years of difficult time for teams, maybe difficult time for fans, but it's going to pay off for both of them down the road very clearly. That's going to be a factor in 2025 that it was not in 2024. You look at some of the length of some of these contracts. We talked earlier about how they really have like a get out quick. They have an ejector seat or two on their roster. Some of that is financial too. I think I'm really eager to hear, and this will be something that will certainly be talked about, and they'll have to articulate at the end of the season, is how do they go, all right, we base a lot of our payroll on attendance and ticket sales. We had that slow down. But one of the reasons why it slowed down is because of the team that then needs spending to improve. So at what point in time do they look at the roster as you have to spend to get the people back? And how do they look at that equation?
Okay. Here's my take on this. I don't think spending necessarily correlates to winning in baseball. I realize that the Dodgers have a high payroll and they win. But
they've only won one World Series, and that's the COVID year.
Right. We've also
in the last little while.
And we've also seen other teams not spend and win to varying degrees. Yep. Maybe not a World Series, but they got in the dance and even won playoff series, right? The Tampa Bay Rays, they did the same thing in the COVID year. They also went to the World Series, years prior to that and played the Phillies. The Phillies are a really good team. They spend big. I don't think it necessarily equates to winning. I do think that spending wisely equates to winning. But that goes for everything. If you draft wisely, if you develop wisely, if you dip your toe into the international waters and you actually succeed, if you spend wisely, you can build a competitor. But you don't have to spend. In my opinion, you don't have to spend. Because I think this is where we get into trouble sometimes talking about the Cardinals in the offseason. Are they going to spend? Are they going to spend? Are they going to spend? Yeah, they'll spend, but they ain't going to spend on the right guys, and that's all that matters. Will they spend wisely? So when Derek Gould says or suggests or theorizes that the Cardinals, because of the whole TV contract situation or the dip in attendance, they may not spend for a couple of years, that to me is no excuse to not still have a contender. We've seen teams in your own backyard, Milwaukee, win the division despite not spending. So I'm not going to freak out if I hear, you know what, payroll's going to dip a little bit. I don't care. How's your scouting staff? How's your draft and development staff? Like, you can still be a contender if you don't spend.
Yeah, and I'm just going to go back to what I've been saying recently here almost every day, is I think the Cardinals should go with a youth movement. And that right there, that one decision solves all your problems, because you have a roster that will be mainly cost-controlled players. So you have to worry about spending big.
Yeah.
Like, quite honestly, this lines up perfect, in my opinion. If I was the president of baseball operations for the Cardinals, I'd be sitting down with the DeWitts and saying, guys, this is our time. Mm-hmm. This is the one time now where we can go, and we don't have to spend big money. We can go through a retool or a reboot or a youth movement, whatever the heck you want to call it, And I think the fan base will follow us through this journey.
I agree.
Because what we've been doing hasn't worked. So now we're going to try. I would not re-sign Paul Goldschmidt. I just wouldn't. I know, CD, you're staunch on like, oh, they're going to do it 2 years. I get it. I would not. I'd let him walk. I would look to see if there was any takers for Nolan. Actually, I'd have a conversation with Nolan Arenado. I'd say, listen, you got a couple more years with us. We're going through the youth movement. We're not going to stink, but we're going to be probably about the same as we were last year, meaning this year. Would you like to be along for the ride, or would you like me to try and find you somewhere else?
Yeah.
And then whatever he says, if he says I'd like to stay, I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
Because not every position has to be a young player. So I'm fine with Nolan Arenado if he wants to stay. If he wants to move somewhere else, then I'll find him somewhere to go, and we'll find that third baseman. It's not going to be a problem for the organization.
Yeah.
Willson Contreras, I don't think you can move him. I don't know. I think the contract's probably a little heavy for another team. So you know what? I'm fine. Willson Contreras, you're going to be back here. You're going to be DH/catcher / mentor.
It's a partial
/ hype man, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And then your outfield, your outfield doesn't have to change because you already have the youth out there. There's your roster. And then you promote McGreevy. If he's right, I shouldn't say you promote. You give him his opportunity. You give Graceffo his opportunity. Quinn Matthews, I know it's been a rocket ship up through the leagues, but he might be ready for major league action. And you've got Sonny Gray and Eric Fetty. I think I just leave those guys as an Andre Palante, and I try to backfill it with two young guys. To our discussion earlier, I'd let Lynn and Gibson walk, and then I would trade Steven Matz, and then I would trade Miles Michaelis, eating half of Miles Michaelis' contract because I don't think anybody's picking up the 22 schmil that's out there. So now for eating $11 million, I've gotten rid of 4 pitchers. And there you go. Now you don't have to, don't worry about the Bally's money. You don't need it.
Right.
Bottom line.
And you might be better.
You might be at least the same.
At least you provide upside too. I'm with you.
Yeah, I am in agreement, and I said it the other day. I think the youth movement would be the best time to do it would be now. You have a built-in excuse. We don't know what we're getting from Bally's. We can't afford to pay. Right. Cool. We're going to go with the youth movement, and we might actually be better. Or at worst, we'll be essentially the same team we have been for the last 2 years.
Yeah.
But these younger guys are gaining experience and getting an opportunity to play every day. Nobody is blocking them. There's no reason for me to bring in a player that's older and veteran leadership because now we're going to go in this direction. I have no problem with that. The issue that I continue to try to wrap my brain around is I don't think it's going to happen. Like what Jamie is saying, essentially, and I don't think you're wrong in saying it, but when's the last time the Cardinals have gone and removed 4 starting pitchers from their rotation from one year to the next?
When's the last time they missed the playoffs 2 years in a row? Since the 50s.
Hey, well, maybe we need to go back to that team and see if they did it then.
I'm just saying. Like,
Different
what they're
ownership
currently
group.
doing ain't working.
They've missed the playoffs more than that, but I understand.
2 in a row.
2 in a row with a
sub
they did a
500
record.
that's
There you go. Yeah.
You stay in your lane, okay?
They missed the playoffs 3 straight years. I was trying to help out.
Yeah, I forgot the under 500.
Yeah, that's all. I was your caddy on that one. I recommended a club, and you just turned around and decided you're going to beat me with it. So
I think bottom line,
that's
though,
Tiger Woods' ex-wife. You know.
Oh, wow. Pretty lady.
Mm-hmm.
She'd hit me with a golf club if she wants.
Bottom line. I think whatever direction they do go in, they have to communicate to the fan base. Like, just give us a reason why you are going in said direction.
Yeah.
I don't even, I do care what direction they go in, but at the end of the day, if they decide to keep doing what they're doing now, you have to let the fan base know, hey, this is why we're doing this. You have to be transparent, much like Doug Armstrong has with the Blues.
Yeah.
Just be transparent. Now, people aren't going to like it, but at least you're filling that aspect of all the things that we haven't seen. At least you're checking that box off.
Well, what I don't want to hear is about the dip in attendance and almost like hey, this is your fault. We're not going to spend.
Yeah.
It is your fault.
So we get a text here from the 314 that I want to address. It says, sadly, the youth movement will bring plenty of losing, though, and losing is already keeping everyone away. Here's where I couldn't disagree with you anymore. We're removing Paul Goldschmidt from the lineup, basically. So why would it... How is it going to create so much more losing? Paul Goldschmidt was irrelevant for 3/4 of the season. And if we remove him, it's the same damn team. So why is that going to be more losing? It'll be hovering around 500 like you are now. And in fact, some of these young players might take steps forward. Jordan Walker might be a bigger factor.
Right.
Sajasi might come up and be a guy that is hitting for average and getting on base.
Yeah.
Like
Hell, you might give Luke and Baker an actual run.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't buy into if we go with the youth movement, we're going to stink. I said youth movement, not tank. Tanking is completely different.
Right. Plus, what's the alternative? Would you rather see them do what they did this past offseason and then bring in a couple of cheap veterans? Because that doesn't necessarily equate to winning either.
Yep.
So what I would rather watch the young, it's a partial youth movement, as Jamie broke down. Would I rather watch a partial youth movement with some upside, or you run it back with this low ceiling, high floor team, which is going to get you exactly what you have?
And maybe you end up turning out to be the Baltimore Orioles.
We're doing pretty damn well.
Yeah.
Pretty good team.
And then once you establish
another holiday.
Once you establish some of these young guys,
that one.
then you can go get a guy. Like if this team, the young players start to do well, and you're in a playoff race, and you need to add something, you'll have the funds to do it.
Right.
You won't have to feel guilty about it.
I like it. Jamie should be the next Cardinals president of baseball operations. Let's start a petition.
That'd be fun.
I'm with you.
Yep. Is college football cooler than it's ever been? We're going to have that conversation next on 101 ESPN. If you ever thought about getting new siding for your home, now's the time to call my friends at Mosby Building Arts, because throughout the month of September, they give you 3 ways to save on new siding for your home, including a free garage door, or 12 payments for no months, or 10% off siding. So just give them the call, 314-909-1800. You can visit the website, callmosby.com. But think about how new siding can upgrade the look of your home. Think about the curb appeal. If you're selling your home right now, or maybe you just know that you want to come home to a home that has got better siding to it. Maybe your siding, it's old, it's been weather beaten, and it's time for an upgrade. Great. Whatever the reason is, call Mosby at 314-909-1800. Perfect time throughout the month of September to get yourself new siding, plus maybe a free garage door. New garage door can also upgrade the look of your home and give it more curb appeal, or the 12 months no payments, or the 10% off siding. However you want to save, it's all up to you. You can do so on new siding just by calling Mosby on that phone number, 314-909-1800. Call Mosby.com. Tell them Stalter sent you.
101 ESPN Sports Center.
I'm Andrew Marsh. It's time for a Sports Center update brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling. The Cardinals take on the Seattle Mariners tonight. Eric Fetty on the mound for the Redbirds. Bryce Miller on the mound for the Mariners. First pitch is at 7:15. Last night, the Kansas City Chiefs defeated the Baltimore Ravens by a final score of 27-20. We talked a lot about that game last night. If you missed that, make sure you go to 101ESPN.com or check out the free 101 mobile app. Just head to the podcast page and you'll find all of our full shows there. It's all brought to you by Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers. Tonight, Packers-Eagles. You can listen to that right here on 101 ESPN from Brazil with a pregame show starting at 6:30. We have some college football matchups this weekend. Texas, Michigan. We're going to dive into college football. And is college football cooler than it's ever been? We'll discuss next right here in the Fast Lane. I'm Andrew Marsh. This Sports Center update is brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling, an independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer.
It's a Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. Carey Davis, Jamie Rivers, Anthony Stalter. Jamie, you were taking in college football last week, and something kind of struck you when you looked at the games, how the games were being talked about. Guys like Deion Sanders, whether you love him or hate him, whether you criticize him, whether the way he builds the program or the way he does. Either way, he's popular now, and you kind of had a thought about where college football is right now.
Yeah, so I remember watching college football way back when. And when I got kind of the bug to watch it, you know, guys like Vinny Testaverde were playing, and then Brian Bosworth, the Boz, he brought a ton of eyeballs to college football. He did. Love him or hate him or indifferent, doesn't matter. He brought attention to college football. It's the first time I've seen a college football player have a poster at like the music store. You're going through and you're like, man, who's this guy? Oh, he plays college ball. You're like, okay, this is kind of cool. But I'm watching weekly now, daily, I should say, throughout the week. Like Pat McAfee, that show has blown up a lot of things. One, he's up the NHL with Hockey is Cool and all that stuff. But the guests he gets on to talk about college football, Nick Saban's on weekly with him, and they're talking college football. Nick Saban is on the ESPN broadcast as well. Yeah. Like, you're just watching the evolution of college football. NIL money being used now in marketing the players a little bit more because the schools are trying to get more NIL money, so now they're actually marketing the players in a big way. Sure. Deion Sanders bringing spotlight to Colorado and just the sport in general. You've got, Shane Gillis, who's a huge comedian. He's down in the Notre Dame locker room doing his character because he does a character as like a Notre Dame coach, and he's got the mustache. And he's down in there celebrating with the players, taking pictures with them. It's all over the internet. And they've expanded the playoffs, so now more teams are like fun to watch and more teams are relevant. I don't remember a time where college football has been cooler, to where kids can flip on their Instagram, their Twitter, their whatever they're into, TikTok, Reels, and all that stuff, and college football is like a thing now.
I think it's partially because they can actually get paid. I mean, they legally. So, I mean, it allows them to. The game has grown, and it's more of a business as opposed to these are the collegiate athletes and this is how it goes, and it's less buttoned up, I think. And I think that it's showing on game day. Like, you're seeing the experience, you're seeing guys having fun. The part that blew me away was I'm at the game at Illinois last week, and one of the players Pat Bryant scored a touchdown, and he's dancing in the end zone, and no flag was thrown. Mm-hmm. And then I saw it throughout the games over the weekend. Guys were able to celebrate, and a referee not run up to him and stop that, don't have fun, you just scored, don't have. Like, they have loosened the restraints a little bit on college football. And now, as you said, Jamie, when you're watching the pregame shows, when you're watching the post-game shows, the entire game in itself, it seems like everyone is having more fun. So I'm excited about, where college football is headed. The expansion of the playoffs obviously is going to get more teams engaged because you're going to have more teams with the ability to make it to the playoffs. It's not just 4 teams, and you got to be perfect throughout the season. You can lose a game here or there and still find a way to win your conference, win everything, and make it into the playoffs. So I do think it's obviously it's more cool and it's more exciting as well.
Tomorrow we have a matchup that we have not seen. And I think that a lot of people, it almost becomes taboo to talk about conference realignment in a good way. A lot of people are like, well, you're going to lose a lot of the traditional rivalries. No, you're not. Michigan's still going to play Ohio State at the end of the year.
Yeah.
Notre Dame's still going to play USC. You're going to get Auburn and Alabama will play in the Iron Bowl. No, you're not. You're not going to lose the traditional rivalries. But we've added the University of Texas traveling to Ann Arbor.
Yeah.
To be at the Big House. And I know Michigan, after winning the national championship last year, lost a lot of players. Obviously, Jim Harbaugh is now in the NFL again. People are down on Michigan.
Yeah.
That place tomorrow will be packed. 2 historic programs meeting in a historic stadium. We would not typically get that if not for the conference realignment and some of the and really just this loosening of the conferences overall. Mm-hmm. I think that with all the different matchups that we're going to see, college football is going to be a lot more fun throughout the course of the years. Whereas as opposed to Michigan taking on, Eastern Michigan this weekend, they're hosting Texas.
Right.
I think that's adding to what you're saying, Jamie. You're still going to have bad, like the rest of the slate this week is not great. But I think overall, instead of 1 or 2 matchups you're interested in, I think there's going to be 4 or 5 weekly.
You're not interested in that KU-Illinois game?
Yes, totally. It's one of the 2.
Okay.
Yeah, Texas, Michigan, which is on 101 ESPN, and of course,
Illinois, Kansas
is also on these airways.
There you go.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's
Nice.
the 2 that I'm interested in.
There
right
you go.
One aspect, too, that we forgot to bring up is them relaunching the football game, the video game.
Oh, yeah.
That's huge.
That's huge.
For Marshy.
And
he's not the only one.
And now,
Carey.
Oh, yeah.
And now
your
you can use the names.
Yeah.
So where before you just had like the numbers. Now you actually
when I
have
was
the
in
names.
college, you had to you had to put them all in just so you had them.
I didn't do it. I just played the game.
There was somebody that I think would do it, and you could make it downloadable or something.
Really?
Yeah.
I just played with myself a lot, Jamie, in the game. The game.
Well, you should, Carey.
Yeah.
You're a hell of a player.
I was. I was one of the best fullbacks on there.
If I was as good as you, I'd be playing with myself the whole time.
Yeah. Throw me ball in the flat. I was catching them by then.
Of course, yeah. No question.
When I would catch
Pumped your player up.
Yeah.
Good times.
Yeah. Okay. Hey, Carey, anything else you'd like to add to that?
College football is great, man.
Okay.
Good times.
Cooler than ever, Anthony.
Yep.
Football's back!
Yeah, it is. Yeah. So if you look at the weekend slate, again, Texas and Michigan, that's the big one that kicks off tomorrow morning, 11 a.m. The other matchups that could have playoff implications, of course, Kansas and Illinois.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. I am excited. I want to see Oregon play again. Like, what they did last week was, I don't think it was enough. So I want to see if, they're playing Boise State. I want to see what they look like because that was a bit unimpressive.
Boise State's defense still a problem.
So let's see what Oregon got.
I think Oregon. I mean, they had some offensive linemen that were down last week. You should still roll Idaho. Don't get me wrong. If they struggle tomorrow against Boise State,
it could be a bit problematic.
Yeah, that one would concern me.
Yeah, overall.
But again, it's kind of a light schedule. Colorado, Nebraska, I'm interested in too. Mm-hmm. So Colorado went into Nebraska last year. Or no, was that a home game? I thought they went to Lincoln. That might have been a home game. That might have been in Boulder. Either way, I remember that was one of the upsets early on in the year. Colorado beat Nebraska. I think this Nebraska team's a hell of a lot better. They got a quarterback now in Raiola. I would assume that Nebraska takes care of business, but you can't count out Dion and the athletes on the other side. It's the Fast Lane on 101 at ESPN. Jamie Rivers, Carey Davis, Anthony Stalter. The Packers and Eagles, they square off tonight. Which team is more likely to take that next step toward being one of the best in the NFC? If not, is one of the teams already there? That's next on 101 ESPN. It's Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. Carey Davis, Jamie Rivers, Andrew Marsh, Anthony Stalter. The game tonight features the Packers and Eagles. Two teams that they went in different directions at the end of last year. So the Eagles, the Super Bowl hangover actually didn't happen in the first half of the season. It happened in the final month and a half. They started to collapse. The team wasn't as physical as it was in the previous season. Jalen Hurts, I don't think there was really much of a drop off for him, but I just think teams started to kind of figure out what the Eagles were doing offensively. And of course the Packers last year, they had a really good start, and then they had a rough middle, and then they finished strong. I think people are kind of sleeping on the Eagles. They added Saquon Barkley in the offseason. When it comes to the NFC, I still think that the 49ers are the team to beat in this conference. But the Eagles, to me, are the third best team behind the Lions. I got the 49ers, I got the Lions, and then I got the Eagles.
I'm not ready to put the Lions there yet. I know Jamie's going to be upset about that. But
didn't like what they did a year ago?
Nah, they did okay. I didn't like that they lost when they were up by like 20, 14.
Well, at least
lost.
It wasn't 25.
Oh, this is true. It was not. It wasn't 28-3. But yeah, so
just a random number.
That's a random number. So
Carey just got it.
You were looking at Carey and you shot this way.
Like the movie,
come on,
like
are
the
you
movie
serious?
Wanted.
This guy's been through enough.
Thank you, Mark.
Yeah, the movie Wanted.
Oh, yeah.
First, he's got to go through an offseason where his favorite team picks up Kirk Cousins, his least favorite quarterback in the world, and now you're bringing up something that happened years ago.
Yeah, thanks,
Come
Marsh.
on.
Thanks, buddy.
It's not his fault they blew a 28-3 lead in the Super Bowl.
No, I think you covered it, Marsh. Thank you.
Against Tom Brady. Which gave him his 5th Super Bowl.
You were helping, now you're not.
With your quarterback as the MVP of the season.
He's great that year.
And they're up 28-3.
Yep, I think you said that, but say it again.
And he took a sack that took him out of field goal position that could have ultimately won the game. It's not his fault.
It's not.
I don't know why you stopped there. I mean, Jake Matthews got the holding call, backed him up. I remember the whole sequence.
But yeah.
Aaron Rodgers is the answer, by the way. Did you ask me who my...
Oh, yeah. Okay, I wasn't sure.
It's Aaron, my least favorite quarterback, and then like a huge drop. I don't know if Kirk is my second. He just bothers me.
It's probably Derek Carr.
He's so... Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
I am not a Derek Carr fan.
Kirk Cousins light, as you like to call him.
Yeah, that's probably not fair. Kirk is such a nice guy, isn't he? He's a super...
I think he's a great dude.
Super nice dude.
My favorite thing about Kirk is when, like, he's a total dork, like a super dork, but he tries to act cool, and you can tell it's a dork trying to act cool.
Yeah.
I find that adorable.
He kind of leans into it a little bit. I give him credit for that. Boy, I'm going to be so mad when he throws that first pick.
Nah, don't worry about it.
Anthony, how are you going to feel if the Falcons, like, it's a runaway to win the division and Kirky is just on fire?
Yeah.
How are you going to feel?
Caliber.
You know how I'm going to to feel.
You got to give them
that first playoff.
They're going to host like Dallas.
No, you're going to show up with your shirt off.
You got to believe
chains, with the chest hair popping out like Jamie likes to talk
You're
about.
going to have to trim it down a little bit.
Yeah, just a little bit.
Otherwise, the chains get lost in that veritable forest.
Well, it gets caught, too. You know, the chains get caught.
Starts to pull the hair out and stuff.
It's a mess.
Yeah.
It's a whole thing. Gary, you were saying the Eagles or the Lions, you don't like them.
Well, no, I don't dislike the Lions. I just like the Eagles better. And again, they made the addition of Saquon Barkley. I think they did a really good job in the draft, drafting a couple of cornerbacks, a position of need that they had to fix. So I think they'll be fine. I think they are a team that, whatever reason, they started out really well last year, but it just wasn't clicking. It didn't look the same as it did 2 years ago when they went to the Super Bowl offensively. They got a new offensive coordinator. They changed some things around. So I think they will be back to the team that they were 2 years ago when Jalen Hurts was a runner-up for the MVP. That team was finding ways to get guys involved. Everybody was involved. And so I believe that they'll have kind of that same rhythm. Last year, it got bad towards the end of the year, and you knew going into the playoffs. I think they lost 6 of the last 7 games. You knew going into the playoffs that they didn't have a chance.
They're dead men walking.
They were
into Tampa.
That was not good.
But it's like, no, you're not going to do anything. So
plus, he had Shaky Bakey.
No, he was on fire.
He was on fire.
Playing well. But yeah, I think the Eagles will be fun. It'll be fun. I'm interested to see what colors they're going to wear because if both teams are green and you can't wear green,
yeah, they
what the hell?
Philly going to go with their black?
Yeah, they're going to be all in black, and the Packers maybe all in white.
White.
So like a color rush game.
Maybe
but not really.
I don't know.
Guess we'll see.
Yeah, I bet they're probably fine inside the stadium.
No, you would hope.
You would think.
I bet. I didn't say they are.
Right.
One would imagine.
Boy, what a genius idea for the NFL to do this.
Yeah.
There's no need to be down there.
Nope.
Right now.
Not right now with everything that's going on.
No.
I would have been like, okay, guess what?
Yeah.
Pause. Let's pick another location.
Yep.
Hey, Anthony.
Yeah?
Yeah, Russell Wilson, unsure if he's going to play on Sunday. Justin Fields.
I'd rather see Let's Cook.
I know.
Let's ride.
I know you would.
Let's ride and cook.
I bet you would.
Because Justin Fields will he went down. Justin Fields owns the Falcons. He's played them twice. He's beat them
Arthur
twice.
Blank owns the Falcons, Anthony.
He does.
You're right.
And Home Depot.
Yeah. Which is why he owns the Falcons.
Right.
Yeah.
You think?
Probably.
I thought maybe he owned the Falcons just as impulse purchase to go grab Home Depot, too. You know what? I really love tools. I'm going to go buy that Home Depot thing.
Let's do this. All right. It's Fastline on 101 at ESPN. Hey, don't forget you can join Randy Carricker on Monday, September 9th from 4 to 6 at the Fenton Bar and Grill. You can go see the best servers and bartenders in the area, enjoy their outdoor deck, cold drinks, and chow down on the best original trash wings in St. Louis. Plus, get signed up for some 101 at ESPN giveaways. That's Randy Carricker at the Fenton Bar and Grill this Monday. Learn more at 101ESPN.com. Percy beat Carey 2 days ago. He knocked off Marsh yesterday. Is it going to be Jamie or me next in the Gauntlet here on 101 ESPN?
Warriors. 4 categories, 1 challenger. Can you survive the Gauntlet?
4 o'clock, your time check is brought to you by Clarkson Jewelers, an officially licensed Rolex jeweler with Andrew Marsh and Carey Davis and Jamie Rivers. I'm Anthony Stalter. We welcome back Percy for a 3rd straight day. What's up, Percy?
Oh, but nothing much.
You ready to rock today?
Ready to rock.
Okay, all right, sounds good. Percy, you already beat Andrew Marsh and you beat Carey Davis. Who would you like to take on today?
I'm going to take on the Riverman, Jamie Rivers.
There you go, Jamie Rivers.
All right, Percy, good luck, my man.
The Riverman.
Okay.
All right, Jamie's going to make his way into the cone of silence right now. Percy, go ahead and tell Andrew Marsh to spin that wheel.
Andrew Marsh, spin that wheel.
All right. Percy, do you have a category you're hoping for today?
Not really.
All right.
I'm just going at it.
Okay. What do we got, Marsh?
Baseball is our category today.
All right. Percy, how do you feel about baseball?
Yeah. We're going to find out, right?
There you go. Yes, we are. All right. So, as you know, Percy, 4 questions, all baseball. Thank you, Marsh. Jamie's going to get 4 baseball questions. Well, same 4 questions. Each question is worth 2 points unless you ask for the options. Those questions are worth 1 point. Are you ready, Percy?
Yes.
All right. Question 1. 6-time All-Star Lance Berkman suited up for how many different major league clubs?
Let's see. Houston. I'll say 3.
Final answer?
Final answer.
Question number 2. The Cardinals' walk-off win against Milwaukee on August 21st featured Nolan Arenado's first Grand Slam since July 30th, 2018, when he still played for the Rockies. Which Redbirds reliever did Arenado victimize that night?
What year you say it was?
2018.
2018. Give me options.
Is it Jordan Hicks, Bud Norris, or Daniel Ponce de Leon?
Daniel Ponce de Leon. Final answer.
Question number 3. Carlos Martinez hit free agency following the 2021 season. Upon leaving St. Louis, with which organization did Martinez sign a minor league deal immediately thereafter?
Carlos Martinez. You left the Cardinals and you say what year? 2018?
So 2021, following the 2021 season, which team?
Okay. Give me the options.
Options are the Yankees, the Giants, or the Phillies.
It is the Giants. Final answer.
All right, Percy, question 4. Last season, whose 33 home runs led the AAA level in all of baseball? Last season, whose 33 homers led the AAA level in all of baseball?
Luke and Baker.
Final answer?
Final answer.
All right, let's bring back Jamie. Percy, how you feeling?
I don't know.
All right, sounds good. Okay, so Jamie's making his way back from the cone of silence right now. He's going to plug in his earbuds. Jamie, how was the cone of silence?
Busy in there today. We had a bunch of people in there. They were trying to figure out stuff. They were uploading pictures for the Gridiron guys and posting that everywhere.
There you go.
It's exciting times.
That's right. Podcast, new podcast dropping pretty soon here. Gridiron guys, Carey Davis and me. All right, Jamie.
Yeah.
Category today is baseball.
Oh, I love baseball.
I know that you do. Carey?
Pack a lunch.
Question 1. 6-time All-Star Lance Berkman suited up for how many different major league clubs?
Oh, yeah. I remember this, but I'll use the options, please.
3, 4, 6.
Oh, it wasn't 6. I'm going to go 4. Final answer.
Okay. Thank you, Bane.
You're welcome.
Man. All right. The Cardinals' walk-off win against Milwaukee on August 21st featured Nolan Arenado's first Grand Slam since July 30th, 2018, when he still played third base for the Rockies. Which Redbirds reliever did Arenado victimize that night?
Options.
Is it Jordan Hicks, Bud Norris, or Daniel Ponce de Leon?
So Jordan Hicks,
Bud Norris, or Daniel Ponce de Leon?
in what year?
2018.
Okay, I don't think it was Hicks or Bud Norris. I think it's Daniel Ponce de Leon. The final answer.
Question number 3. Carlos Martinez hit free agency following the 2021 season. Upon leaving St. Louis, with which organization, since we're talking to the Canadian, did Martinez sign a minor league deal immediately thereafter?
I'll know it when I hear it. Options, please.
Options are the Yankees, the Giants, or the Phillies.
The Yankees. Final answer.
All right, Jamie, last question. Last season, whose 33 homers led the AAA level? Last season, whose 33 homers led the AAA level?
Luken Baker. Final answer.
Okay, let's go over these. Jamie versus Percy.
I'm excited.
Let's start off with that last question.
I like the way Carey's looking at me. All right.
Last season, whose 33 homers led the AAA level? Percy, you said Luken Baker. Jamie, you said Luken Baker. Correct answer is
Luken Baker.
neither of you use the options. We have a 2-2 tie. Nice job, guys.
All right.
The Cardinals' walk-off win against Milwaukee on August 21st featured Nolan Arenado's first Grand Slam since July 30th, 2018, when he still manned third base for the Rockies. Which of the Redbirds relievers did Nato victimize that night? Percy, you said Daniel Ponce de Leon. Jamie, you said Daniel Ponce de Leon. Correct answer is...
It is Daniel Ponce de Leon.
Both of you needed the options for that one, so we have a 3-3 tie.
Oh, wow. Imagine that.
Carlos Martinez hit free agency following the 2021 season. Upon leaving St. Louis, with which organization did Martinez sign a minor league deal immediately thereafter? Percy, with the options, you said the Giants. Jamie, with the options, you said the Yankees. Correct answer is...
The Giants.
The Giants is the correct answer. He was released by them in April of 2022 without having appeared in a game. Percy has a 1-point lead.
Percy's hot.
He is hot.
6-time All-Star Lance Berkman suited up for how many different major league clubs? Percy, without the options, said 3. Jamie, with the options, said 4. If Percy's right, it's a blowout. Percy wins. 6 was the other option. So if it's 6, Percy wins. If it's 4, we've got a walk-off today.
Oh, boy. Ugh, I hate walk-offs.
Percy.
Walk it off.
It was for the Astros, the Yankees, the Cardinals, and the Rangers were the teams that Lance Berkman played for. So, Percy, this is how it's going to work. You're going to hold off on your response until we ask for it, okay?
Okay.
Jamie's going to write down his answer. Once we have his answer, Percy, we're going to go to you, and you're going to give us yours. Closest to the pin wins. Jamie, you got your pen? Percy, are you ready?
Yes.
All right, again, hold off on your response. Here's your question. How many complete games did Adam Wainwright throw in his MLB career? How many complete games did Adam Wainwright throw in his MLB career? Again, Percy, you're holding off.
God.
Jamie,
we need a number, Jamie.
Writing down his answer. We have Jamie's answer. Percy, what is yours?
38.
Okay. Jamie, you wrote down?
40.
Percy said 38. Percy.
You have chosen wisely.
Marshy, how many complete games did Adam Wainwright throw in his Major League career?
Well, it wasn't 38, but it was 28.
28 was the correct answer. Percy is closest to the pin, which means Percy will be back on Monday to take on me in the Gauntlet Championship. Jamie has got to go now to the penalty box. Percy, congratulations, man. Have a great weekend, and we'll talk to you on Monday.
That's a good birthday present. My birthday Tuesday.
Happy
There
birthday.
you go. Happy early birthday.
Yeah, I'll talk to you Monday.
All right, Percy. Nice job. Congratulations.
Yeah.
There you go. All right. Jamie, all right?
You've been in the penalty box before.
Oh, yeah, plenty.
Okay, you're good.
Yeah.
There's no door on this one.
No, makes it easier now.
Percy's
hot.
Yeah, he's all right.
Yep. All right, Jamie. Be careful back there.
Have fun.
But be careful.
All right. Man, we actually just took a picture with the latest Gauntlet trophy
We're about
champion.
to give up another one.
Man.
Ooh. It's not great.
No, not great at all. All right. Any concerns about this? Is an interesting statistic, right? The Cardinals have actually been better without Willson Contreras record-wise. What does it all mean, Basil? That's next on 101 ESPN.
ESPN.
Rivers back in the penalty box.
Hey, Jamie.
It's actually the first time that he's in our penalty box, but he has been in a penalty box.
This is not a great setup over here, guys. I'm not going to lie.
It's awful. It is awful.
It actually is a small punishment for a segment.
I figured out how to work the headphones, though. Got those going.
Can you hear yourself?
I can hear everybody.
Okay.
This microphone, though, looks like it might need to head over to the medicine shop in St. Charles. Sildenafil.
Yeah.
Less than $2 a pill.
You don't care how you don't care that it's taking it. Just the microphone's paying too much for it.
I have no problem with the microphone using it.
Yeah.
I just need it up, a little vertical here.
No, that makes more sense.
Well, at least we only use it for about 15 minutes instead of 4 hours.
Very true.
But it's available for 4 hours if you need it, right?
Yeah. Yep. All right.
Good cardio.
So the Cardinals were 21-16 in 2023 without Willson Contreras in the lineup. In 2024, their overall record without Contreras is 33-22. They're 7-4 since his latest injury. This to me, guys, I know we've seen these numbers before. I think the Snake Pit has provided us for it. The text line has done it. Some tweets, like we've seen this number. This is one of those records, those trends that to me, it really doesn't make any sense. I think it's a nothing burger. Like you can't convince me the Cardinals are better without Willson Contreras. I don't care what the record is. I think that this would be a small sample size situation. And if you continue to play with Pedro Pages or Ivan Herrera, that the record will eventually be worse without Willson Contreras. Well, that's my take.
And let's not forget that Willson Contreras is the only catcher of the three that can somewhat come close to throwing a runner out.
Right. Within the same hemisphere.
Did you see the other night when Herrera threw it? Brendan Donovan didn't even try to make a tag. He caught the ball. Was like, we're not close. We're not close.
How about the one where he hit John King?
Yeah.
Like just straight up hit him.
I was okay with that. Bust the tower a little bit. At least have a reason not to throw the guy out.
I'm going to need you to hold runners on better.
Yeah.
Why'd you hit me in the back?
It's your fault, Carey.
You're in the way.
Yeah. Other than that, I think that this is a statistic that, again, it's a small sample size and it's a bit overblown. I also think without Willson Contreras, what's your middle of the order look like? Paul Goldschmidt has just started to come around. Nolan Arenado was starting to trend better in August. Otherwise, that those two guys not hitting the way they did left a huge void in the middle of the lineup. Willson Contreras is a hitter. So if you don't have Willson Contreras, you got issues moving forward.
Yeah, and not only that, I mean, he's, again, like you said, the best option behind the plate. And I know last year they didn't feel like that. They wanted someone else. They wanted Andrew Kisner to be the everyday catcher and him to play outfield or something like that, DH, whatever nonsense that was.
You don't care if you can play infield or catch, you can play in the outfield. That's the Cardinals' philosophy, and you tell me they're wrong.
They're wrong, and that's not a good idea. No. I don't think. But no, I think, it is one of those weird stats. It's often why I say I don't always believe the stats and the things that they say, because if you watch the games or if you pay attention, if he's not in your lineup every day, again, I think it'll eventually kind of even itself out.
Agreed.
So I don't know what those numbers mean. I don't know how it got to that point. I don't know how they're better or winning more games without him, because they're not throwing runners out more at a higher clip. Like, people are going to still continue to run on them and steal bases, because, even Pages has kind of gotten to the point where he's iffy at times. And it starts with the pitchers, holding guys on. But I think if Willson is not there, you're going to be in a world of hurt for 162 games.
So let me ask you guys this, and Jamie, you had recognized this. Luken Baker has recorded at least one RBI in 6 straight games that he has appeared in.
Yeah. And pressure RBIs too.
Like the other night.
Like he's hitting the home run that he hit. Like, there's big moments, like clutch hitting.
So the question is, like, did the Cardinals not know what they had in Luke and Baker?
Anthony,
just from I'm not talking about play him every day. I'm talking about from a bench in a bench role.
Here's what the most frustrating thing for me is. Halfway through the season, when they were discussing needing a right-handed bat, he was sitting in your organization. We just had the Gauntlet. He had 33 dingers last year. I think he might be at the same. He might already have 30-plus dingers this year. And you didn't give him a shot?
No.
Like, you went every other direction. You sent Walker down, traded for Tommy Pham, did all this other stuff.
Right.
You had 2 catchers in the lineup at once because you needed a right-handed bat. Mm-hmm. And there you got this moose that's just been sitting under your nose. And what did they do? They looked at last year's small sample size at the end of the season and said, well, I don't know if he can do it. Right. What, really? Why would you not have just tested the waters at least?
Why is he still there? But then why? Here's the other question, too. If you don't believe that this guy can do it, you have evaluated him, and you feel as though that let's just say he's a 4A player, right? Like, he's just somebody that is going to hit well at the AAA level, but not in the majors. You evaluated that, right? Then why is he still in your organization? Why wouldn't you develop somebody else at the AAA level that fits what you're looking for then?
Anthony wants to trade him.
I mean, but he's not, I don't think he's wrong. Like, if you're not going to play him, if he is leaving, if he is, leading Major League AAA in home runs 2 consecutive years, he is leading right now, and he hadn't been there in 2 or 3 weeks. He's still leading by like 6 home runs.
Imagine that.
What are we doing here?
I don't know. I don't know, Anthony. I don't know. I don't know what the purpose is.
Paul Goldschmidt.
You do, right?
Well, yeah, right now you do. Definitely.
Yeah, right, guys?
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Goldie's kind of hot right now.
Yeah, keep playing him.
Absolutely.
He's going to be hot in 2025, too.
But Luke and Baker, he could be a right-handed bat off your bench. Like, you wasted a roster spot this year. Outright wasted it on Brandon Crawford. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to say you wasted it on Matt Carpenter, but how much has he been used recently, and how much was he really used throughout the year? It's been
sporadic.
He's been a bench bat. But you know what? He's a left-handed bat off the bench. He's got some pop still. Great, fine. For me, where they lost me was Brandon Crawford in lieu of having Luke and Baker sitting there. Carpenter's got enough pop from the left side. Can you imagine if you had enough pop from the right side with Luke and Baker? Now you actually have pieces on the bench that can help you.
I would like to know what their thought process is for Luke and Baker. I remember a couple of years ago I was asking you about Callie Rose, and I got to turn all the way around. Sorry. I remember a couple of years ago. Hello. I was asking you about Callie Rosen and how he was playing so well, and I was like, well, why aren't they giving him a shot? And you broke it down to me. That's who he was. That was probably the best you were going to get from him, and you started to see that. Maybe that's what the Cardinals think about Luke and Baker. Like, if you see more of him, you'll realize it's not as good as they needed to be.
We haven't seen it. So, like with Callie Rose in that particular circumstance, he played for the Toronto Maple Leafs. He'd had some runway before you got to him. By the time he got to be a Blue, he was what he was, a depth defenseman. But Luke and Baker, to my knowledge, has only been in the Cardinals organization. So, and you really haven't given him a real shot. So you don't know what you have. That's why I don't agree with the way they're handling him. If Luke and Baker was... How old is he, Carey?
27.
Okay, if he was 29, and he'd been part of another organization, he did the same thing in the minors, went up, didn't play well or didn't hit well, went down. Then you get him, you sign him to a minor league deal. He does this whole thing. You know what he is then.
Yeah.
You've got a 4A player, a minor league bopper. That's it.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. I don't know why. I mean, he played in 33 games last year. He's played in 11 this year. The Cardinals are the only team that he's played for professionally.
How many plate appearances last year, Carey? I can see you got
86. No, sorry, 99. 86 at bats. 99 plate appearances.
For the Cardinals?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you get a good idea of what a guy can do?
I don't know. It's tough. That was
300 at bats.
I think that was his first call up too.
He's got 105 at bats total in his MLB career.
So 300 at bats. I mean, that's kind of the very soft line of demarcation, right? Where you say, okay, I have a really good idea of what this guy is. So
they don't know.
Yeah.
So maybe Jamie should run the Cardinals.
Carey, I appreciate your vote of confidence.
Got you.
Thank you.
Can you hire me?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Fredberg needs an assistant.
I don't want to do that. I want one of those jobs you were talking about earlier.
What?
Where I don't know the details of it, but I'm getting paid.
Oh. You want one of those jobs?
Yeah,
no problem.
Just
Carey.
show up.
You
What?
you know what your first move is when you take over, though.
I'm firing Fredbird.
Well, you're at least sending him down.
Why?
Oh, we're going to bring up the other one there.
Yes.
Give him his chance.
Yeah.
What's the Springfield or the Memphis Bird?
What's the
Is it
Memphis Bird?
Marshy?
Rockin' Rowdy or something?
Yeah, it's something like that.
Rowdy Redbird?
Rowdy
the Redbird?
Rowdy Telez, the Redbird.
Yeah.
No.
You know what? We'll have
Fredbird
them
is a
both.
staple.
What we're going to do, we're going to take a page out of Army's book. We're going to get the Springfield mascot, the Memphis mascot, and Fredbird at spring training.
Yep.
And we'll find out who wants it more.
Rocky the Rockin' Redbird.
There you go.
There you go.
You don't think Rocky
he
would
looks
like a
sick.
chance?
He probably would. I don't know if
He's probably hungrier than Fredbird
Yeah,
right now.
you think he's going to just basically do the same stuff over and over again?
No way. He's going to bring it.
Yeah.
This guy, honestly, he looks like he could be Louisville's mascot too. I wouldn't even put it past anyone to think that this guy is doing two different jobs.
Jamie, maybe what you
The
do,
real go-getter.
you bring in like all the Cardinals mascots around the nation. So like Louisville's mascot.
Oh, yeah.
the Arizona Cardinals mascot. Like you bring
Open
them all.
tryout.
Yeah.
Like Vince Papale.
Yes.
We might
all
find
all the Bird
all the
mascots.
Well, no, all the Cardinals mascots.
all the Redbird.
Redbird.
Yeah.
Okay.
Illinois State.
I love the idea.
Illinois State's Redbirds. Yeah.
I wrote it down.
I wouldn't even be. You know what? I would even invite the Stanford Cardinal
What's a
tree. Just to see what he has too. You
never know.
Just
Yeah.
it's in the family, right? It's the same name.
Why is it a tree?
I have no idea.
Strong.
There's probably some. There's some history to it, but I have no idea.
I always
It's
wondered
like
that.
Stanford's campus. Is it all a bunch of pine trees or
I
whatever the hell
have
it
no
is?
clue. I don't know.
Okay.
Big-ass trees everywhere.
We're the Stanford Cardinal. What's your mascot? Tree.
A tree. Christmas tree.
What are you guys good at? We're good at rowing.
And every once in a while, we get a generational talent at quarterback. We're pretty good for a year. Other than that, we just do stuff. We're smart.
Very.
Okay. Time for the Sports Six Pack. Yes. So if you got a question for us, send it into the Air Comfort Service text line 314-399-9646. Sports Six Pack next.
I'm Andrew Marsh. It's time for a Sports Center update driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. The Cardinals take on the Seattle Mariners tonight. First pitch is at 7:15. Eric Fetty on the mound going up against Bryce Miller. We talk some Cardinals baseball throughout the show. If you missed any of our conversations, make sure you go to 101ESPN.com or check out the free 101 mobile app. Just head to the podcast page. You'll find all of our full shows there. It's all brought to you by Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers. 27-20 was the score in last night's opening night game for the NFL. Kansas City defeats the Baltimore Ravens. We'll have another one for you tonight on 101 ESPN. Packers taking on the Eagles in Brazil. Pregame starts at 6:30. We have our Sports Six Pack coming up next. If you have a question you want to send our way, do so using the Air Comfort Service text line 314-399-9646. Sports Six Pack coming up next. I'm Andrew Marsh, and this Sports Center update is driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. See them at londoff.com. Chevy, together we drive. Are you kidding me?
I have a question. It's time for the Fast Lane to answer your sports questions.
I want to ask you a bunch of questions, and I want to have them answered immediately.
Asking me all these weird questions.
Answer the question.
Answer the question.
Answer me!
The Sports Six Pack is now.
All right, time for the Sports Six-Pack here on the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. Carey Davis, Jamie Rivers, I'm Anthony Stalter, and here's Andrew Marsh with your questions via the Air Comfort Service text line 314-399-9646. Marsh, go.
Question number one.
From the 314, RIP to Chris Duncan. Anthony, what was your favorite story about Dunk in your time working with him?
Oh, man.
How can you pick one?
Yeah, no, good question, though, and I appreciate the opportunity to we were going to talk about him at some point. So today is the day that tragically Dunk passed away at the age of 38. Lost, not even say lost his battle. He took the damn tumor with him. That's the way I like to look at it, because Dunk was always a fighter. I don't know if I have a specific favorite story, and I'm sure a lot of people are, maybe hoping for one that's really funny, and there are so many stories that would make Dunk laugh, would make everybody laugh. But I will say this. The one thing that I learned the most from Dunk was grit. This is somebody that was a first-round pick and entered an organization that his legendary father, Dave Duncan, was also a part of, had to deal with, even though it was a first-round pick, and that comes with a lot of fanfare and the signing bonus and all that. He entered an organization where I'm sure a lot of people felt as though the only reason why the Cardinals took him was because of Dave, which wasn't the truth. It wasn't the truth, but he had to battle through that. He gets to the big league level, and he helps the 2016 win the World Series. Tony La Russa has said, without the contributions of Chris Duncan, we would have not won the 2006 World Series. And yet the situation where he's got to move from first base to the outfield because of Albert. They wanted his bat in the lineup, so now he's got to learn the outfield. Now he's with Jose Oquendo every day working on it. He told me about all the injuries that he suffered. Yeah. Neck injury, herniated disc, back injury, to the point where I can't remember where he was. Maybe he was Colorado, where he swung the bat and he was in so much pain it crippled him. It dropped him during the at-bat. He was so hurt, and he was going out there, but he felt like he was going to let his team down. Mm-hmm. So then his baseball career eventually ends. He gets traded in the Julio Lugo deal, and he winds up in radio. When I say this guy used to prepare for one 10-minute segment for 3 hours, that's what he did. He worked so hard because he wanted to do it right. Yeah. This is somebody that grew up in a clubhouse, wound up being, a really good player, shortened career because of the injuries. He probably just could have loafed it on air and tell stories because his personality was so great. Yeah. But that was one of the hardest working human beings I've ever seen. And then he gets cancer and a brain tumor, and the same damn tumor that his mom had, which is about a 1% chance that ever happens. Wow. And instead of feeling bad for himself or did the woe was me or gave up. He fought and he fought and he fought and he fought. And the damn thing came back, and, he lived his life at the end and just, lived it the best way he could. Yeah. But you talk about a guy that gave up drinking and eating poorly and all that stuff so that he could extend his life as long as possible and fight that tumor. So out of anything, I learned grit and determination and hard work. And that guy faced a lot of battles in his life. And he was incredibly successful and beloved. And I know what he meant to the Cardinals fans, and I know what he meant to the 101 ESPN listeners. And I tweeted about it earlier today. There's not a day that goes by where I don't think about Dunk in some way, shape, or form. So,
yeah, Anthony, I never had the chance to meet Dunk or whatever, but listening to BT tell stories, your stories, Mike Ryder telling stories, Danny Pants when Pants was here talking about Dunk. And then I hear some of the old audio that comes on from time to time, maybe more so back when Mike Ryder was working the board because he knew where all the Dunkisms were.
Yep.
It sounded like he was just an awesome dude, man.
You would have, Jamie. I've told you this before. You would have loved Chris Duncan. Like you and him would have gotten along very, very well because you're also an athlete that works as former athlete that works his absolute ass off no matter what you do, and you take pride in it.
Yeah, thank you.
And that was Dunk.
I have a feeling we probably would have gotten in trouble.
You probably would have gotten in some trouble, yeah. The whole reason why they had to put the 30-second dump delay in is because of Dunk. He cursed twice in 7 seconds. Poor Mike Ryder had to, make sure that he always had, his finger on the dump button. But
I'll grab his ass.
He was incredibly lovable. One more thing on Dunk too, and I actually said this at his celebration of life in Tucson when we went out there. We used to go to Busch Stadium sometimes to watch the Cardinals take batting practice, so we'd go after the show. When he was in town, we'd go out there, and he knew everybody's name. And I'm not just talking about Adam Wainwright or Chris Carpenter, who was down at the fields, or any of his former teammates. I'm talking about the groundskeepers. He knew the groundskeepers' names. He knew anybody that worked in the offices down there. And people get up out of their chair to hug Chris because Chris cared about them, and he cared about their lives and their families, and he knew the families' names and all that. And he was so humble. I'd ask him, who was that? He goes, I don't know. He knew exactly who they were and their story, but he was always humble. So yeah, I miss him dearly. And congratulations, of course, to his dad, Dave Duncan, who this weekend will be honored, and rightfully so, into the Cardinals Hall of Fame.
That's awesome.
Question number 2.
From the 314, I was playing NHL 96 on my classic Nintendo 64 and scored with Mr. Jamie Rivers.
Yes.
Well done.
Yes.
How much money
One of many.
do athletes get for their likeness used in a game?
Yeah, we don't really get anything for it, to be honest. What happens is all the money that's generated from that, a certain percentage rather, goes to the NHLPA. So the NHL Players Association gets a chunk of change for that, and then they go and use it in different ways. Sometimes there's former players that fall on hard times where maybe they played in an era where they didn't make a lot of money and now they're not living in a great situation. So the NHLPA has what they call their Players Emergency Assistance Fund. They'll go and see the athlete, they'll go through the finances and see, and then that athlete will receive a certain amount of money each month to keep them above water, to make sure that they have a chance to maybe go get another job and without having to worry about not having a place to live or food on the table, or if their kids are like so that's one of the things that it gets used for, amongst other charitable donations that are made as well.
Question number 3.
From the 314, are we starting to look like a losing sports town because of the losing between our 3 major sports over the past 2 seasons?
Say that again. I'm sorry. I was reading a tweet.
So from the 314, is St. Louis essentially starting to look like a losing sports town because of all of the losing from the 3 major sports here in the past 2 years?
Okay, so the results are losses, but are we a losing sports town? Like, that's where I'd push back a little bit. I know the Cardinals this year, it's been a rocky road, and the attendance is dipping and things like that, but you didn't really see a dip in the attendance for the Blues last year following a losing season. St. Louis City SC is not having a great year this year, but you're not seeing a dip in the attendance there. The Battlehawks are setting records every time they play a game in the UFL.
Yeah.
So I think the results are losses. I don't think this is a losing sports town. Maybe I'm reading into that wrong. I don't know.
No.
No, I don't think it's starting to look that way. I think you're just having, your main two teams not having successful seasons. One of which feels like they have said, what the hell with this, we're going to correct it in the St. Louis Blues, and the other is like, hey, it's kind of cool here, huh? Yeah, you don't like it? You don't think? That's how I feel about it.
Okay,
you want to do something different. If you want to win games, change it.
Yeah.
Fix it.
I don't know if this helps or hurts, but I don't think fan bases in other cities care. I don't think they're viewing.
I agree with that.
I don't think they're viewing it as like, oh, but have you seen St. Louis? Man, they're losers now. I don't think they care.
Yeah.
At all. And if we win here, either you hop on the bandwagon like you did in 2019, you root for that organization, or you start to hate the Cardinals because the Cardinals, for a while there, they all they did was win, and all they did was in contention. So I don't think fan bases in other cities they really care. They're looking elsewhere. You're either hated because you win all the time, or you're irrelevant. And I don't think St. Louis fits into either category at this current juncture. We'll continue our Sports Six Pack next on 101 ESPN.
It's time for the Fast Lane to answer your sports questions.
I want to ask you a bunch of questions. I want to have them answered immediately.
Asking me all these weird questions.
Answer the question.
Answer the question.
Answer me!
The Sports Six-Pack is now.
Continue our Sports Six-Pack here in the Fast Lane on 101 at ESPN. Carey Davis, Jamie Rivers, I'm Anthony Stalter. Question 3, please, Marsh. Or 4, whatever one.
Question number 4.
Yeah, 4.
All right, let's go back to the NFL. We have not seen this team play yet. Of course, only 2 teams have played. 2 more will play tonight. But this has been a team that we've talked about a lot because we don't know what it's going to look like. From 636, do you guys think the Bills' winning window is closed with Stephon Diggs and Gabe Davis gone, or it continues with the new crop of receivers?
So glad you answered my question that I texted in. Yes. No, I didn't text that in, but I do believe
I saw
it is.
you doing something about
Gary and I are, we're on opposite sides here. Jamie, you'll be the tiebreaker.
Yeah, I think it is. I think, well, I don't want to say it's closed because you have an elite quarterback, a generational quarterback in Josh Allen who does turn the ball over too much. He forgets sometimes what color he's wearing, and he throws it to the other team, and then he fumbles it more than he should. Those things are not good, Jamie. But with that being said, yeah, I think they have a chance because he's still an elite quarterback. But you don't have you don't have the playmaker, in my opinion, unless Shakir is going to be that type of player for them, the receiver that's still there. He did a good job late in the season, but I don't trust their running game with James Cook. I don't trust their passing game, other than they have 2 really good tight ends, but I don't see what they're able to do offensively that will put pressure on defenses, especially when your best playmaker is no longer on the team. So is it closed completely? No, but it's barely open, man. Not big enough to get through. You're gonna have to break it down to get through there. So,
yeah. So to be determined whether or not, like, what the product looks like this year, we've had some preseason games, and how much can you actually read into some of those, right? Yep. So I think it's a little early for this question, so I'll just answer it like this. How many teams in the NFL have really good quarterbacks with elite wide receivers? Like, let's say the Cowboys. They got Dak Prescott and they got CeeDee Lamb. Do you think they're close to a championship window?
No.
No. So then the theory of Stephon Diggs being like that to me, it doesn't hold all the water.
Amen, Jamie.
There's some thought behind it for sure.
Okay.
But it's not a guarantee that if you have the star wide receiver and the quarterback, otherwise, like Tyreek and Tua down in Miami, like
they're
window probably
is
in the
open.
same place as the Bills right now.
Their window is open further than the Bills is, in my opinion.
Is it?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think so.
I don't know. I see a lot of elite quarterbacks with elite playmaking receivers, and they're not really in the conversation.
For me, and it's not just that. I mean, they lost. Matt Milano is hurt. He's out again, I believe, for the entire season, right? You lost Tre'Davious White, who was injured a lot last year and didn't play, but he's gone. He's no longer on the roster. Like, this team, their championship window may have been when Brian Daboll was still there. Like, that was, and I think it just finally, you had that opportunity when you went back and forth with the Kansas City Chiefs and you lost because the Chiefs had the last possession, and then you lost to the Cincinnati Bengals the following year in the playoffs at home. Like, your window began to shrink at that point, and now you said, okay, we're going to trade our best player on our team, not named Josh Allen, and we think we're going to be better because of it? No, you're not. So I feel like the window is again, it's not slammed shut because you do have an elite and generational type quarterback, but he turns the ball over too much, and you don't have anybody, in my opinion, that is as good as Stephon Diggs was.
I don't think the window is closed because of Josh Allen, and maybe that's just a cop-out answer. But Josh Allen is going to win games on his own just because of his ability to beat teams with his arm and his legs. I think he's a franchise quarterback. I think the offensive line is average to slightly above average. I think the defense is in that like 10 to 12 range. Mm-hmm. Do they have Stephon Diggs? No. Can they still be efficient with the use of the 2 tight ends? Yeah. Can they be efficient if Keon Coleman, I
don't know what he is yet.
No, and that's fair. Yeah. But if Keon Coleman winds up being a wide receiver 1 by the end of the year, does your perspective change?
Yes, that's why the window is not completely closed.
Okay.
I can't speak. I don't know what he is just yet.
I think that's fair.
I wouldn't put that on him as of right now, but we'll see.
I don't want to be hypocritical when it comes to the Bills, because when they got pushed around a couple of years ago by the Bengals, I came on these very airwaves and said, this is a team that's built like a dome team. They're soft. They get pushed around. You should not have any team go in January to East Jesus Buffalo or East Jesus New York and push the Bills around. Like, that's unacceptable.
I agree.
You should be built like a playoff team, much like your Steelers teams were for all those years.
Mm-hmm.
If you knew if you went to Pittsburgh in January, you were going to get your ass kicked. Buffalo was not built like a playoff team. I think they're trying to be more physical. They're trying to be built more like a playoff team. And for that, I'm going to give them credit for it. And we'll see how it plays out. But I don't think the window is completely closed on them.
Yeah. Their running backs, they might have the smallest running back room in the NFL.
Josh Allen's going to score 15 touchdowns. What's the difference?
He's going to have to.
I think they're going to be good. I don't think the window's closed.
Question number 5.
It's one of the things that Carey and I disagree on the most.
Yeah. One of many things.
Two Buffaloes.
All right, we get a question from the 314. A real brain twister. What is a better declaration for a man soda? Is it beer, because obviously the packaging in a can, or a cocktail, because obviously many cocktails actually have soda in them?
I think it's got to be a beer.
It's a beer.
Man soda's got to be a beer.
Because you crack it open.
And the fizz, too. Like a soda has fizz.
Yeah.
A beer gets the head on it.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I mean, if it's a good one, you don't want it to not have head.
No.
If it doesn't, then you don't want it.
No,
You want to send it back.
That's right.
Yeah. Not what we're looking for here.
I insist on that.
Mandatory.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. If you're going to be my man soda,
Good for you.
I require certain things.
Yep. Proud of you.
Question number 6.
This one comes from Jigsaw. Jamie's been using his voice all day long. Which running back makes the biggest impact for the team this year? Is it Saquon Barkley or Josh Jacobs?
It ain't going to be Derrick Henry. We saw that last night.
It's one game. Relax.
Nailed it. Biggest impacts, like
Of those
helping
two?
them win games.
Are
helping
those the only two we choose from, or are they saying?
Yeah, Barkley or Jacobs.
Which version of Jacobs are you getting?
I'll go with Barkley.
Why'd you take so long to say that?
Because
I wanted to give it
It's a
some thought.
no-brainer.
Jacobs?
No. Oh no.
He loves.
I know he loves Saquon.
He loves Saquon Barkley.
I do.
Loves him. I do. Yeah, I think Barkley is one. I think he's the better back. I think he's a difference maker. And I also agree. I don't know what version of Josh Jacobs you're going to get. Last year won pretty, but he also played for a Raiders team that didn't know what the hell it's doing and switched up its offensive scheme there in the middle of the year because of the firings of Josh McDaniels. 2 years ago, he led the league in rushing.
Right.
The way that Aaron Jones finished the year in Green Bay, could Josh Jacobs do that? Yeah. I mean, they could use him in a variety of ways. Yeah. But I think, for me, I'll just go with the better back. And the better back is Saquon Barkley.
I agree with you.
All right. Okay, it's Fastlane on 101 ESPN. Let's jump back into the Cardinals. Michael McGreevy, see a shoe-in for the Cardinals starting rotation next season. We'll get to that next on 101 ESPN. Will Michael McGreevy see a shoe-in for the Cardinals rotation next season? 503, your time check is brought to you by Clarkson Jewelers, an officially licensed Rolex jeweler. Is in his last start, McGreevy went 7 2/3, allowed only 2 hits, 1 run, 0.0 walks, 10 strikeouts.
That's pretty good.
A 10 to goose egg strikeout to walk ratio.
That's pretty good.
Since his major league debut, Michael McGreevy, 35 2/3 innings of work, a 2.52 ERA, a 2.00 FIP, which means his ERA should be lower based on advanced metrics. 25.9 strikeout rate, a 4.1% walk rate. This kid has been filthy.
But you don't have room for him up here. You got too many good veteran guys.
I hear you, Jamie.
Right, Carey?
No.
You got to bring back Miles McCollus. You got Steven Matz under contract for next year. Why would you bring up a young kid with a lot of upside when you can go with somebody with a high floor?
That just gave me a pain in my side.
Lance Lynn's chomping at the bit to get back, too.
You know he's a gamer.
Yep. Cardinals can't wait to get him back in there.
Sign that veteran leadership.
You guys are...
What?
You know, I don't know I don't like what you're doing here. I don't.
What are we doing? We didn't sign these contracts.
Well, no. But you're making excuses.
We are?
Because the young guys, we talked about it, should be the ones that are playing.
We never said they shouldn't
opportunities. What are you saying?
We're saying that there's...
He said Miles Michaelis is...
Yeah.
You said Lance Lynn is on the mend.
And all of those guys are in the way.
We agree there, brother.
They're in the way.
We agree there.
If I was the Cardinals, I have McGreevy in the rotation, right? Every 5 days, I'd be throwing him. I don't care. Steven Matz to the bullpen. Lance, you're still hurt, right? Wink, wink. Okay, you're not happy? Go home. Wink. I don't care.
No wink on that last one.
I don't even care.
Go.
Just go.
Yeah.
McGreevy shoved when he was here, and now he's continued to pitch very well at the minor league level. Go ahead, please.
I have a question.
Yep,
isn't this what you want?
Yes.
Don't you want a young guy who you have developed and developed and developed, and now he's ready for the big leagues? Don't you want to give him an opportunity?
Well,
don't you want to say overpriced veteran free agent who doesn't give us the same amount of production as potentially the young guy? Beat it. The young guy's time. Like, isn't this what you want from an organization?
So, in theory, what you want is for a young player in your organization, when they come up, you want to give him a little taste, a little nibble, right? See what he can do. See what he's got.
I believe they call that a cup of coffee.
They did.
Yeah.
They gave him that cup of coffee, and that cup of coffee was excellent.
Mm-hmm.
So they say, okay.
Folgers Crystals.
Let's see what he does now.
Yeah.
Send him back down. And what he's done is prove to you that I wouldn't say he's too good for AAA, but he's good enough to be at the major league level right now. This is when he should be up here.
Here's what you guys don't realize. And the Cardinals, they're playing chess while everyone else is playing checkers.
No,
right? No, let me finish.
No, they're not.
They're testing the mental stability of these players. You send them back down, how much you got in you, huh? You got enough in you to keep...
Can we break this one, too?
Can we? Yeah. See? Yeah, they're playing chess. Because if you're not mentally tough enough, you'll never make it, kid. Right? That's what it is. Send you down. Yeah, you performed well at the big leagues, but what are you doing in the minors, huh? Show us that. Let me see. Okay? And if you do well there, maybe we'll bring you back up to the big show, kid.
How many games left in the Cardinals season? 23?
Maybe.
24? Something like that?
Nobody knows.
Okay, let's just say it's 23, 24.
Yeah.
This is the perfect time to call him up and pitch him every 5 days. You would get, 4 starts out of him? 4-ish starts out of McGreevy the rest of the way. Lance Lynn's still on the IL, but what is Gibson, Matz, Michaelis, what are they going to give you in the next 4 starts?
That you don't already know?
That you don't already know. That you're like, okay, rinse, repeat.
Yeah.
This is harsh, what I'm about to say, but I think I'd DFA Lynn, Gibson, move Matz to the bullpen, and just say, McGreevy, you're in for the rest of the season. You will pitch every 5 days.
Yeah.
And that's
good
it.
with that.
Because you don't owe anything to Gibson and Lynn. And both guys have been, good guys this year. Gibby's a tremendous individual, and he's pitched, giving you some good games, some eaten up innings. But what are we doing here? you're out of the playoffs. You really don't have a chance. You have a 1% chance. Okay, so you really don't. DFA those guys so you can open up the roster spots in the rotation.
Mm-hmm.
Move Matz to the bullpen because he's been hurt all friggin' year anyways. So it's not like he's going to go. But listen to me. It's not like he's going to go earn a job.
I just like the way he said
three
it.
more starts.
Yeah.
Like, no,
right.
Like,
well, that was my point earlier when we had the conversation when Marsh brought up the roster construction and hey, the Cardinals were smart because they signed some of these veteran guys and then they're just going to let it see how it works out. What more do you need to evaluate?
Yeah.
This dude's injury prone. Hello. Right, Jamie?
I agree.
Future president of Cardinals baseball operations and general manager.
The only reason why I don't think that that's the move is because you had, and granted, I don't remember where they were at the trade deadline, how many games back they were. I think they may have been 6 or 7 back in the division.
Yeah, something like that.
And they may have actually been, at one point, they were in the playoffs at the third wild card. I don't remember when that was.
At one point, they were the second wild card.
Yeah.
For about an hour.
Well, yeah.
So
it's a good hour.
I don't recall. I don't remember what date those things started to change. But what you're saying is essentially punting on the season. If that's the case.
But are you? Because look, here's the way I view it. Is your pitching? Are those guys that I'm talking about so damn good that you can't live without them?
But they haven't. But
answer the question. No. So then you're not punting the season.
But that's been the case all season, though. So if that was the philosophy or the mindset, then you probably should have done that at the trade deadline and got something in return.
You're 100% right. Okay, but we're not there anymore. So here's where we are with.
Damn it, Jamie.
20-some games left. This is what your rotation should be moving forward. Sonny Gray, Eric Fetty, Andre Palante, McGreevy, and then you still have Michaelis. Put him in the 5th spot. There you go. There's your 5 guys. You're riding out the rest of the season. Is that a real drop-off from what you currently are rolling out there?
Not my opinion. No.
So why not do it? I would do it.
Yeah.
I'm getting frustrated talking about it.
I'm sorry.
I know. It's okay. I'll get over it.
It's Carey.
No, it's not Carey. It's not Carey. Carey, it's not you. Don't listen to Anthony.
Do it.
He's just trying to start stuff.
He's 22 games.
22. So perfect. Roll him out every 5 games.
Give him that cup of coffee.
Yeah, why not?
I'm with you.
Cold coffee like Percy.
And then with Matz in the bullpen, if something goes sideways for Palante or McGreevy, pull Matz in.
Yeah.
He's stretched out. Just like the same way you use Libertor all year. Right. You need the innings eaten because the first guy couldn't go very deep, then there you go.
Yep. Roll him in.
And you tell him, see, Steven, that's why we need you in the bullpen.
Trick him.
You're our guy.
Yeah. Good luck. All right, it's Fastlane on 101 ESPN. The NFL season is underway. We're going to do the NFL preseason rankings, the Stalter Stackup, 1 through 10. Will the number 10 spot be a house of horrors? I said horrors.
Oh, I was like, okay.
Yeah, that's something different, Amy. Will the 10th spot
get your money behind that one, Carey?
Be an issue again this year? That's next on 101 ESPN.
Oh, Sean McVay has the best playbook. Oh.
Stalter on the fumble.
Oh, my God. Anthony.
You like that? You like that?
You're wrong on this one, Anthony.
Anthony, who cares what you think?
On stacks, on stacks, on stacks.
All right. Tell you what, with that open, I feel good about this year's Stalter Stackup preseason look.
All right.
I'm going to go 1 to 10 because I feel
go natural.
Yeah, because I feel like that usually there's more drama toward the 10.
I think depends, right? I still think the drama is the number one.
Okay,
Yeah, 10 to 1, I think.
10 to 1?
And then moving forward, because there were so many dramatic things with 10 before, I would go 9 to 1, and then you give us your 10.
Wow.
Because the 10th was always...
So that team always lost that week.
Every single time, yeah.
So it's your
I started to get creative,
too. Get strategic with it.
Yep.
So who are we starting off with?
We're starting with 10.
Number 10.
Sorry, Dolphins fans. You're going to lose this weekend to the Jaguars. I got the Miami Dolphins in the top 10. Here's the thing with the Dolphins. It's now that you put them in the top 10. Toward the end of the season, when the weather starts to change and all that, and the track team, the offensive track team, they start to go by the wayside. But look, this team's going to be explosive all season long. Again, until it gets a little bit cold. I love the Vic Fangio hire as well. He's going to be their defensive coordinator coming from Philadelphia. So I think the defense will be coordinated well. Jalen Ramsey just got paid today. Overall, I think this Dolphins team is going to be a lot of fun to watch. It's going to be the Michael Crabtree Texas Tech team. Regular season, you like them. Then you get toward the end of the year, not so much. But I got the Dolphins at 10.
Number 9.
I got the Packers at number 9. I think they deserve to be here based on what they did at the end of last year. They're a team that the arrow is definitely pointing up. They got rid of the defensive coordinator, didn't know what the hell he was doing. They are a defense that is very young, very active. Interesting to see how they handle tonight. I could see them losing tonight, but I still like them overall. Jordan Love, ton of weapons there with Watson, with Romeo Doubs, with Reed. Added Josh Jacobs. O-line's pretty good. Well coached by Matt LaFleur. I like the Packers at 9.
Number 8.
Carey hates this team, but I still think the Buffalo Bills, the window is open for them. Broke them down a little bit earlier. They got a franchise QB in Josh Allen that's still a headache. I know they lost Stephon Diggs, but what really did they win with Stephon Diggs? I think they needed to move in another direction with their offense. If you look back how they utilized the 2 tight ends when both guys were healthy last year, I think that gives them a different look. I think they're more physical. I think they're going to be tougher. Defensively, losing Matt Milano stinks, but they're also a team that's well coached. And in that division, you're going to get a couple of dubs with the Patriots. The Dolphins, you at least split with them. And you know how I feel about the Jets. So I think the Bills are still in a good spot to challenge for first place. We wrote them off last year, and it came back to bite us. Could have easily beaten the Chiefs in that playoff game. Again, I think the demise of the Buffalo Bills has been exaggerated. So I got them at 8.
Number 7, thank you.
I thought about putting the Bills here, but I'm going to put the Houston Texans here. C.J. Stroud coming off of just an unbelievable season last year. And then they added Stephon Diggs to a wide receiver group that also has Tank Dell, Nico Collins. That O-line, I like the 2 tackles that they have. And defensively, how about the job that D'Amico Ryans did last year? They've got I know Sauce Gardner is outstanding, but they got the number 1 corner in Stingley, my opinion. Got some pass rush to that. I like what they've added over the last 2 years now defensively. So I got the Houston Texans at 7, and you play in the worst division in the AFC.
True.
So I think the Texans win this one. Win the division. I got them 7.
Number 6.
It's kind of a leap of faith, but if the Bengals can iron out some of the issues that they have right now with T. Higgins and Jamar Chase was seen at practice. He's doing the whole hold-in thing. I think they'll work the contract out fine. When Joe Burrow has been healthy, this has been one of the best teams in the AFC, and the only team that has consistently given Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs trouble. So I'm going to take the leap of faith that Joe Burrow is going to stay healthy, that they are going to work out the issues with Jamar Chase, and that the Bengals are still going to be the team that's going to be a huge thorn, not only in their division, but also with the Chiefs. I got the Bengals at 6.
5.
I like the Eagles. That roster is extremely talented. They add Saquon Barkley. That front 7 is fast and aggressive. I do question whether or not the loss of Jason Kelsey affects them from a pass protection standpoint early on. Maybe we'll see that a little bit tonight. But look, Jalen Hurts is a stud. He proved what he was capable of in that season 2 years ago. Nearly won the Super Bowl against Mahomes and the Chiefs. Loaded on both sides. Last year, that collapse, I think, woke him up. I think they had kind of a Super Bowl hangover. It didn't hit them until the second half of the year, which is a little bit weird. But I think they rebound and it starts tonight with the Packers. So I got the Eagles 5.
Number 4.
I got Jamie's Lions.
4?
At number 4, yep.
Oh, my God.
I got Jamie's Lions at number 4.
You're doing so good up until that point.
Thank you. This team, you talk about continuity. They bring back their OC and Ben Johnson. They bring back their DC. Their biggest issue is their cornerbacks. They drafted 2 cornerbacks with their first 2 picks. We'll see if both guys, one of which was a Mizzou product, we'll see if they fix those issues. Aiden Hutchinson was unblockable at times last year. The offensive line is the best in all of football. Goff got himself paid, rightfully so. Amon-Ra St. Brown, stud that can impact the middle of the field. Local product, Jameson Williams, deep threat within that offense. They got 2 backs.
Sam Laporte.
Yeah, Sam Laporta as well, another local product. Thank you. That they can use in that passing game. The Lions they're loaded, so I got them 4.
Number 3.
So I got the Ravens. I think they're going to iron out some of the issues that we saw last night. As Carey mentioned, some of the procedural problems that they had, I think, will go away. They're well coached. Lamar Jackson did not play his best game last night and still almost put up, as Carey noted, 400 total yards. He kills you on the ground. He can kill you through the air. I don't know where the deep threat was last night, but they'll figure that out. They got that with Zay Flowers. Adding Derrick Henry, I do think, will help. And that defense is still going to be solid despite losing some key pieces. I got the Ravens 3.
Number 2.
I got the 49ers, too. I think that all the stuff that people have been talking about, Brandon Ayuk and the contract, well, they figured that out. Trent Williams and the contract, they figured that out. Maybe they start slow. They got a big game opening up here against the Jets. Maybe they start slow, but Kyle Shanahan is still one of the best coaches in the league. Brock Purdy, perfect fit for that offense. He's got how many weapons? Plus an O-line, best left tackle in football. Nick Bosa started slow last year because of his contract situation that came out in the second half. That's not going to be a problem this year. Fred Warner, best linebacker in the league. Again, one of the most talented rosters in the NFL, and they're still the team to beat in the NFC.
Okay. Number 1.
Chiefs. Andy Reid, Mahomes. That's all I need to say on that.
I'd like to hear more, please.
Go back and watch last night's game, and I think you'll see it. Adding Xavier Worthy, outstanding.
I'm curious as to how they end up using him on a regular basis. Because they did that little reverse play, and he ran for a touchdown on that one, which he sliced through the defense. Like, he was there, and then he was gone.
4.2 speed.
I'm just wondering, because he's certainly not built very big, I'm just wondering how he holds up at the NFL level. Because he's fast, but that just means he can get from A to B really fast, and if there's somebody waiting at B for him,
right,
it could be a big problem.
I see what you did there.
Yeah, imagine, who's a linebacker that we love talking about? Big-ass linebacker.
Fred Warner.
Fred Warner. He's lurking in the weeds. He knows this kid's coming, and he just...
Smoke him.
Yeah.
Yep. I wonder what his durability is. That's all.
Sure.
I think
that's a fair question.
Yeah.
All right, Jamie, your biggest problem with the top 10?
I really don't have many problems. I think the Lions should be above the Ravens.
Okay.
I'll give you the Chiefs and the 49ers because the 49ers came back and beat the Lions last year in the NFC Championship. I'm not ready to give the Ravens the number 3 spot over the Lions yet.
Sure.
Is that emotional attachment or is it actually just like football stuff? I don't know. Maybe a little bit of both.
Sure.
That's probably my only real disagreement with this list right now because we haven't seen, almost 100% of these teams we haven't seen. We've only seen the Chiefs and the Ravens so far.
Fair.
So I'm good with that.
Carey, your biggest beef?
Top 5 is the same as I have it, just in a different order. I have Chiefs, Ravens.
You got the Ravens second.
Yeah.
Carey loves Ravens. He always has loved Baltimore.
Not always. Not always.
Favorite team?
And no. And then I have the Eagles ahead of the Lions as well. I have the Lions 5.
What are you drinking?
Wow.
I didn't know.
What's wrong with your water?
I don't have the Bills on my top 10 at all.
You don't have the Bills as a top 10 team?
Nah, I got 9 teams.
Really down on them.
I don't believe in them.
He's just willing it into existence.
I'm just telling it like it is, man.
Is Stephon Diggs, is he a friend of yours?
Nah, he wasn't. He's not a friend. I don't know.
Are you sure?
Yeah,
I feel like you're related or friends or something. Like with the miss, like you really hate the Bills now.
I don't hate the Bills.
Well, you don't like them.
I don't like him.
Best friend?
I thought maybe he's mad for his boy, Like, what the hell?
Nope. And then I had the Bengals a little bit lower. Just because it's sight unseen.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know enough.
Right.
So
the Bengals, the Texans,
I think
even the Packers. Those are teams like you're like, you've still got a lot to prove. But if you look at the NFL, like, who do you want? You want the Cowboys in there? You don't want the Cowboys.
I got 9 teams. I don't have a 10th.
I don't like the Jets.
No.
You know that. I mean, the Jets, you could put the Jets at 10. Marsh, what was your biggest beef?
I don't really have too much beef here. Our top 5 was exactly the same. I had Green Bay at 9. I had Miami at 10. I'm sorry. I had Miami at 6. So I had Miami at 6. I had Houston at 7, which is what you had. I did have Dallas in here. I have them at 8.
Okay.
So I have them at 8, and Cincinnati is 10, and Green Bay is at 9.
Got it.
So we were. Cool. I mean, we were pretty similar, other than a few spots, and then obviously you had Buffalo in there, and I had Dallas. Just given what we've seen in the offseason from Buffalo, I would rather have Dallas in there than them.
So this Stalter Stackup is going to be fun this year because as the weeks roll by, we're all going to create our own independent thoughts on how this is supposed to shape up. And it'll be interesting for me to see how many times we really disagree with your Stackup.
Yeah, so far there's just, I mean, Carey, we knew that Carey was going to disagree with several of the things.
He's got Buffalo.
He's got his best friends around the league.
Well, I don't know. I mean, Stephon Diggs is Marcia, you watched him in Minnesota. He's a hell of a player.
Yeah, he was.
One of the best players
of all time.
What did he win in Minnesota, Carey?
Well, he
won a playoff game.
Yeah, but what did he win?
Case Keenum was his quarterback at the time.
Mm-hmm. But what did he win?
He didn't win anything.
What did he win in Buffalo?
Nothing.
The
quarterback
after a while, Carey, remember you said, when you get moved around, after a while, it's not them, it's you. Carey did say that.
Carey did say that.
Your Honor, he said it.
My words against me.
He absolutely
Did you or did you not say that?
This is his third team. Yes, I did say that.
He hates me so much right now.
Carey, what are you doing?
On the flip side of that, though, remember what he and Josh Allen did when he was a young quarterback. He can do the same thing with C.J. Stroud.
Ruin him?
No. His game became elite when he got an elite receiver.
Josh Allen, he developed a twitch because Diggs did nothing but yell at him.
Throw me the damn ball.
Watch this. Like, it's gonna be.
I've never met a receiver that didn't want the ball.
Well, that's true.
Yeah.
I call them 7-Eleven.
They're always open.
Yep.
There you go.
All right. Well, that'll do it for me. The guys got the rest here. My son Killian's got his first soccer game tonight.
Get the heck out of here, Anthony.
I'm heading out. Going to watch him.
Can't wait for those soccer breakdowns on Monday, Anthony.
Yeah, maybe I'll learn something.
You know what?
For once.
I'm not lying. Because it's kids soccer, if you listen to the coaches, you will start to learn what's going on.
Yeah,
that's actually the best way to learn a sport is at the youth level. Because the kids need it to be like over-explained to them.
For sure.
And you're kind of on the same level.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. I don't even take that as a...
No, it's
slight.
I don't think he was.
It's just a fact.
It wasn't a slight. Yeah, it's just true
fact.
And Anthony, if he does need glasses to see the ball, make sure you get him those glasses, and the coach doesn't have to go around and steal other people's glasses.
Yeah, that's listen.
Make sure
I've
they're
seen
sports
kicking and
glasses,
screaming
though.
600 times.
Sports. If you get him regular ones, he'll break and cut his face. You don't want that.
He's bleeding out there. The blood's in his eyes. Yeah.
Killian be sending out. He'd be the one that's wiping the blood off and licking it.
He'll be like Scott Sterling, just making saves.
That's right. Yeah. Good stuff. You guys have a great weekend. See ya. See ya. Oh, actually, hold on. Maybe I should tease it.
Jamie Rivers, Anthony Stalter, and I want to talk to all of you about our guy Stewie from Stewart's American Mortgage Corporation. And you know what, Anthony, we always tell our listeners about how great Stewie is and the great job he does and the things he thinks of and that his personal cell phone number.
Yep.
I'm looking for a home right now, and I today text Stewie. I say, hey, Stewie, ask him some quick questions. I mean, questions that are vague. He's like, that's a bit of a tough one. I don't really understand. So I get back again. He comes back to me with an answer, an educated response, and then finally he says, hey, why don't we meet on Monday? Let's meet on Monday. So Stewie and I are going to meet on Monday and talk about things and talk about my options and solutions and things like that. But at that moment, I realized, I'm like, this is the guy. Mm-hmm. You call him, you text him, he answers back. He's putting together solutions, going to put together a game plan for me, and we're going to meet here on Monday.
That's awesome. But that's it. Just because it's Jamie, it doesn't matter. Like, Jamie knows Stewie very well. But when you're listening right now, Stewie considers you, just like you would Jamie, a friend, somebody that needs him, and somebody that needs help with something. Jamie's looking for a home. He might have a complicated situation. He's trying to, understand what he can do, what his options are. Stewie's there for you. You're somebody, maybe you're dealing with some debt and you want to consolidate that. Your credit card debt is up to your ears. Let Stewie take a look at it. You might be fearful of it. Stop with the sleepless nights. Pick up the phone, call Stewie, 314-324-4440.
Again, that number, 314-324-4440.
Because just like Jamie, I guarantee you he's going to have some solutions for you. If you miss that number, Jamie, what can you do?
Google the bagel loan.
NMLS number 226715.
I'm Andrew Marsh. It's time for a Sports Center update brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling. The Cardinals take on the Seattle Mariners tonight. Eric Fetty on the mound for the Redbirds, not Steven Matz. Eric Fetty on the mound going against Bryce Miller. First pitch is at 7:15. If you missed anything from today's show, make sure you go to 101ESPN.com or check out the free 101 mobile app. Just head to the podcast page. You'll find all of our interviews and full shows there. And it's all brought to you by Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers. The Chiefs beat the Ravens last night, 27-20. More NFL for you tonight as the Eagles take on the Packers. You can listen to it right here on 101 ESPN. Pregame starts at 6:30. Tomorrow, you can listen to Michigan, Texas. Pregame starts at 10:30 a.m. Illinois and KU. Pregame at 5:30. And then on Sunday, we have a slate of NFL games. Falcons, Steelers. That's an important one, especially in this studio. Seahawks, Broncos. And then Sunday Night Football, Jamie's Lions going up against Tanner's Rams. Kickoff at 7:20. We have Beat the Streak and Biggest Question of the Day coming up next. I'm Andrew Marsh, and the Sports Center Update is brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling, an independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer.
I want to hit baseballs.
All of my successes depend on me.
You're ready to hit.
The hits just keep on coming.
And his first big league hit is a bullet up the middle.
It's a fast lane here on 101 ESPN. Carey Davis, Andrew Marsh, Jamie Rivers, our guy Anthony off to go root on his little guy playing soccer tonight. So we wish Killian nothing but the best. A big victory for the Stalter family. But right now it's time for Beat the Streak, and we got our guy Corey back with us. Corey, how you doing, bud?
Hey, couldn't be better, man. Football's back. Buccaneers play on Sunday. Couldn't ask for anything else.
Attaboy, good. All right, Marshy, what do we got here for standings?
All right, Corey's in first place. He has a streak of 4. It looks like Jamie is in second with a streak of 1. And unfortunately for Carey, Anthony, and myself, we're back to 0.
Oh, wow. All right, Corey, big game tonight for the Redbirds. Who you got?
Well, like in the intro to Beat the Streak, it says all my successes depend on me. So I'm hoping to get success with Victor Robles.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Good
Carey,
pick.
you seem upset.
Yeah, I just hit my hand on the table.
Oh, you just randomly smack your hand on tables, huh?
Just to make sure it's awake.
Yeah.
Sometimes
Well,
the hand
based upon
falls
what
asleep.
Corey said, I don't think you liked it.
Well, no, it's a good pick for him. Good job.
All right, so I'm next. Okay, I'm going to go with, It's a tough one. I think I'm going to go with Paul Goldschmidt. Goldie's been hot recently. So I'm going to go with Goldie. Let's go with, random selection here. Well, Anthony Stalter, he left us his pick. He picked Alec Burleson. Marshy, you and Carey, who's going?
When's the last time I got a hit? Is that me?
You have not got a hit since the 28th.
Is that 4 games?
3 games.
Yeah. So you're
and
last.
1 for me.
Dead last.
Give me
Oh, you could be third.
Randy Rosarena.
Oh, wow. Rosarena.
That's where I was going.
Where are you going to go now, Carey?
I'm going Mason Wynn.
Mason Wynn for our guy CD. All right, Corey, there is our picks for Beat the Streak. Good luck, my man. Hopefully we're talking to you on Monday.
All right, thanks, boys. Have a good weekend.
You too, my friend.
Corey.
Take care, brother.
All right, thanks. You too.
All right, it is now.
It's time for the Fast Lane's Biggest Question of the Day.
Okay, so ordinarily Marshy has these, but we had to pivot real quick because we found a tweet from Katie Wu. Mm-hmm. And it says, Lance Lynn starts for the Cardinals on Wednesday. Steven Matz will be available out of the bullpen starting Sunday. Andre Palante remains on turn to start Tuesday. So my question to you guys is, how do you feel about this move? Lance Lynn coming off the IL and moving Steven Matz to the bullpen at this point of the season.
Well, I think Steven Matz has done it, has been in the bullpen before, so I guess that's an easier transition for them and for him. An easier conversation, I'm assuming, than it is to ask Lance Lynn to go to the bullpen. Again, I don't know what this signals for the rest of this season. The reason I think they make these decisions is because they truly believe this gives them the best chance to win.
Does it?
what else you got?
Does it though, Carey?
Look
at the numbers. Does it?
Listen, I was reading the tweet, and there's one reply to the tweet so far, and it just says, "Good choices." Like, that's it. The face that you made. I think that that's the best option that they have, and they believe that that's the best option they have to win games.
I actually feel like Steven Matz is a better option than Lance Lynn right now.
Well, you know,
it's 7 strikeouts last game.
I don't know, but because I think we're past the point of, all right, let's see what guys can do. Like, you know who the hell these guys are. There's more than enough sample size to know who is who and what is what. It's not like these guys are young players. They have careers in Major League Baseball.
Mm-hmm.
You know exactly who they are. But you also knew exactly who they were when you signed them. So
I agree to
you're
that.
getting what you expected to get out of them. And if you sign someone with the expectation, all right, we're going to sign them, and maybe this will be the year they have that flashback year to their best year of their career, or maybe this will be the year that they explode on. You're doing yourself and your team and your fans a disservice.
So here's where I go with it. Lance Lynn more than likely will not be with your organization next year.
Then why is he playing right now?
It's Carey.
Because
I'm holding. Okay, it's
sorry,
my turn to speak.
I do that a lot.
Could I have my jugular back, please?
I didn't bite at your
You
head.
did. You held on and you shook. That was disturbing. It's one thing to bite me. It's when you hang on and you shake your head that worries me. Okay.
My apologies.
Okay. Lance Lynn will most likely not be part of your organization next year. He has an option that I don't think the Cardinals will pick up. So just like you said, Carey, then why the hell is he playing? And this is where I go back to Steven Matz. Steven Matz has another year on his contract with your organization. He missed almost all of this year due to injury, and he's been injury-plagued since he signed here. Why would you not have him continue in the rotation to at least get him the reps before the end of the season so he heads into the offseason? And then if you do hang on to his contract into next season, at least you say, okay, like, he's a starter. You're not bringing back Lance Lynn, so why do you even care right now? Because it's not like Lynn is a better option than Steven Matz.
So why is...
Andrew, you have your hand up?
Yes. I believe, this is just me, I could be crazy, and I think I am at some points.
We all are.
But potentially, I think they're letting Lance Lynn pitch because he expects to play next year. Otherwise, I don't think he signs... You know,
he expects to play where?
Well, he just expects to play.
Well, I don't care.
He wants to play. So you let him do that, whatever. And then Steven Matz goes to the bullpen, and you then show him off as a good bullpen piece.
Okay.
Good bullpen piece.
I don't hate the idea.
And then perhaps you can trade him as a bullpen piece. So you're showcasing
swingman.
You're showcasing what he can do in the bullpen to other teams down the stretch in September.
The hell of a strategy.
You're in a playoff quote unquote push.
Yeah.
You show other teams what he can do in the bullpen, and if they like that, maybe they trade for him. And you want to see what he can do in the bullpen because maybe next year he's not in your starting rotation plan. So you let him go in the bullpen, and then you allow Lance Lynn to pitch and prove to either you or another team in the league that he still can be a Major League Baseball pitcher.
I don't like either one of those options. And
I'm with you. To me, Lance Lynn would be on the IL still. Steven Matz would go to the... I told you guys what my rotation would be to be finishing the year.
It's nonsensical. Like, it makes no sense to me, because what you're telling me is, on one hand, I know the Cardinals still believe, whether you believe it, whether I believe it, they still believe they can make the playoffs. And that's what they're choosing.
But you're right. I know what you're saying, but this does not make them better. It doesn't.
Him playing?
Lance Lynn pitching in the rotation doesn't make you better.
Agreed.
Yeah.
But that's my point.
Yeah.
They feel like this is the best option to make the playoffs, which leads me to believe that they believe this is the best option for next year. Because if you didn't think that
he is not coming back next year.
Okay. There's no way.
There's no way.
Then why is he playing now?
I don't know,
because
Carey. That's why I'm mad too.
If he's not
You're yelling at me, yell at them.
If he's not going to be here next year, then why the hell do you play him now?
Because they've shown us.
They're scared of the
because
veterans.
he's going to play here next year.
No, they're scared.
No.
Okay.
I
He
think
will
the I
not
think
play
front
next
office
year.
is scared of the veterans. That like, oh, we better play him. He's mad now. He's holding his breath and he's throwing blue in the. He's mad. We better play him.
Well, pass out then. I don't give a damn.
I'm with you, Carey.
Better breathe.
But I don't think the organization feels the same way as we do.
Oh, well, you got to get you some
otherwise,
huevos.
why would you play an older player that's coming off of injury? If you still believe you're in a playoff race, why would you go to that guy?
They feel like that's the best option.
And that's what worries me the most.
And that's why he'll be on the roster next year.
No, I would guarantee he will not be on this team next year.
Would you like to make a gentleman's wager?
Yeah, I would.
$5.
There is
$5?
Yeah.
$5.
There's no way that he is on this team next year. The reason why I
You don't want to
believe,
shake on it.
I'll give you a fist bump.
Oh, he wants a fist instead.
I can't.
Fisting.
Yeah. Well, you know.
I shook his hand. Why'd you fist him?
Here, okay, I'll shake. Yeah.
He made it weird.
He did make it weird.
It's a little
Nice
weird.
grip.
Not uncomfortable, but weird.
Not a morning grip kind of guy.
Good
Clearly.
grip. He's no Michael Young, but he's got a hell of a grip.
But, like, they've already shown that they want to make good with some of their players. They get Sean Armstrong. They get rid of him, right? So he can go and try and compete on another team. They get rid of Tommy.
They got rid of him so he could go play somewhere else.
Right, but they got rid of Tommy Pham so he could go do the same thing.
If they thought Lance Lynn could go somewhere else, they'd get rid of him and, hey, go play somewhere else.
Right,
pal.
but I think
There's no chance. That tells you all you need to know.
But here's the thing. Another team wouldn't want him, but at the same time, he believes that he could probably play another year. That's why there's that team option, because he thinks I can play into 2025.
Yeah.
So he is trying to, at least this is what I would think.
But the
that he
player
would want
wants-
to prove that he can still pitch.
But what the player wants and the team needs,
I completely agree.
Can be two different things, right?
I completely agree.
I know. We're all speaking the same language
We're
here.
dealing with a guy that has been on the Cardinals before and has won a World Series with this team.
That was a long time ago.
That was a long time ago, but we know how this team, this franchise values like those veteran legacy type players. You don't want to end that relationship on a sour note if the guy is healthy. If he's healthy and can pitch, you brought him in here to do so, and that's that.
They need to hire somebody that doesn't care about feelings.
You know what?
Well, he's right down the road.
I'm completely disgusted. Coming up next, we've got Bet the Board, criticisms, compliments, 3 stars. We'll close out the week right here on 101 ESPN. Fast Lane here, 101 ESPN. We got to get in and get at it here. We went a little long the last one, so bet the board. Marcia, you just go ahead.
All right, I'm going with Brandon Aubrey over 1.5 field goals this weekend for the Dallas Cowboys.
Nice.
Kerry Davis.
Shohei Ohtani, 1.5 hits, runs, RBIs, minus 135.
Anthony Stalter.
Michigan, +7.
Michigan, +7. Jamie Rivers. I've got the Cardinals on the money line tonight. I think Eric Fetty's going to have himself a good game.
3 stars. Here we go.
At the same time, we did
Third star goes to Batman.
Yes.
Second star goes to Rudolph with man sodas.
Oh, yeah.
And first star goes to Jamie Rivers back in the penalty box. We've seen it before. We've seen it. Here we go.
Nice. All right, everybody, have a great weekend. Enjoy the weather. Enjoy your family. And have a great time. See ya.